Stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly, yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else, I had to set them straight, yeah. I had to ball, so I had to renovate. I know they hate when you elevate. The stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah. I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. Ooh, yeah. Why they wanna bring me down? So much drip, yeah, I almost drowned in it. I can't come it down. Yeah, I'm way too fired up. I can't slow it down. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I see the flashing lights. Make sure the fashion right, yeah. I'm in my bag tonight, yeah. Ooh, I might just pull up a foreign. Watch out, the engine is roaring. It's too loud, you can ignore it. Yeah. You get to have it all, no need to choose. First, let me demonstrate how you can rise to the top. Yeah, I had to elevate, 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 elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate.
They hate when you elevate. The stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. The stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight.
They hate when you elevate.
Yeah, salute, ATP. What it do was really good. We back at it one more time. You know, life is always so nice. Clap it up for yourself. Clap it up for boxing. Clap it up for fight week. Yo, clap it up for fight week. It's fight week. It's the night show, Tuesday night. You know how we gonna carry it from now. Busy during the day, but at night we gonna kick it. We gonna do what we gotta do. It is fight week. We got fights to break down. We got news. It's Tuesday, news day. So much stuff going on. We got the boxing space trying to figure out a lot of things going on. Things that we don't know. Things that we do know. Things that we trying to figure out. We won't know until the night of the fight. Announcements that haven't been made. We have announcements that we've been waiting on to be made, and they haven't come to fruition. So many different things going on, man. Today was the grand arrivals for this huge card we have coming up on Saturday, and I emphasize a huge card, man. Just great fights up and down this card. Turki Al-Sheikh, it's the beginning. Let's be honest. Turki Al-Sheikh now starting. It's gonna, from now until November. I mean, he's gonna be cooking. Turkey's cooking until from now to November. We got what's going on this weekend with, obviously, with Shakur, with Edgar and Hamza and Williams and Payton. We're going to talk about all that. But then we also have a fight Friday as well on Netflix, right? We got Jake Paul putting out that all-women's card. We get to see Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Try to figure it out. They say 3 times the charm. Let's see what they're able to put together on Friday. Next week, July 19th, maybe the biggest weekend in boxing all year long. I don't know. I'd have to think about it just off the top of my head. Just feeling like it's going to be a real busy weekend with, the Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios card, of course. And we also have Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois finna get that redemption, right? The second time at it. Let's see if that's the trick for Daniel Dubois, older Alexander Usyk, who's been through some wars, tough 24 rounds with the biggest force in boxing to a certain degree in Tyson Fury, managing that, now getting back in the ring with quite possibly the fighter who gave him the most issues. But he wants to give Daniel Dubois an opportunity to get that redemption. Let's see what happens in that fight as well. We've got Bam Rodriguez also fighting next Saturday. So many different things going on. Moving on to August. I mean, Turkey's going to be cooking, right? Moses Tatuma, Dillian White card. Then, of course, we got this Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez is coming out in September. And then, just added to the things to do list, Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney, and added to that as a main event. We'll talk about that as well. David Benavidez and Anthony Yardy topping that card, and some great fights on the undercard that were announced last week as far as Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes fighting for that vacant WBO title, that lightweight title. And of course, we also have Bam Rodriguez popping up on that card as well. And I still think there's space for some more fights on there. Don't look away from Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. You never know. You never know, right? So much to talk about. And I hear people talking in the space. Man, bro, when you focus on one fighter, and we're going to talk about that tonight for sure. I'm telling you right now, we're going to talk about it. When you're focused on one fighter, and your fighter isn't cooperating with you, he's not giving you the announcement, he's not giving you the fights that you want yet, so many different things. If you're a fan of boxing, you're excited for boxing right now, right? If you're a fan of boxing, you are excited for boxing right now, without a doubt. Too much boxing to talk about. But if boxing isn't your thing and a fighter is your thing, if another man is your thing, then you might be a little disappointed. You might be a little disappointed with the way the game is unfolding for you right now. If your whole thing is a certain promotional company being on top and having this on lock and things of that nature, then this is what's happening in boxing right now might not tickle your fancy as much. You might have some complaints. You might have some pushback on it. But we're going to talk about that tonight, because we do need to talk about where the frustration needs to be at. At whose door should this list of complaints be delivered to? Who in reality, who's the core, and what is the reason for your discomfort with the game right now? We'll talk about that, of course, for sure. Trust me, we're going to talk about that as well. We got to talk about the grand arrivals today as well. The grand arrivals wasn't so telling. It's just the grand arrivals, but in fights like what you have coming up Saturday, you want to look at all the intangibles. I saw some things. We'll talk about some things that I saw. Shakur Stevenson seems very confident, very poised, very determined, very mature. Seems like he really has an understanding on how important Saturday is going to be for him. And, look, man, we saw what he did with Edwin De Los Santos. He threw us a curveball there. He told us it was going to be belt to ass for Edwin De Los Santos. Told Edwin De Los Santos he was going to see something he never saw before, and we saw how it ended up. So I can't fault anybody who might be doubting what they're going to see on Saturday, but I don't know, man. The vibe is different this time around. Shakur looks dialed in, man. He looks confident, like that package he was waiting to come in came in. You know what I mean? He just knows it's right there, and he just can't wait to show. He just can't wait to show what's in the package, what's in the box. And I'm excited to see it personally, right? It's going to be real exciting. I'll say it like this. If Shakur is serious about what he's saying, as far as the effort he's going to bring in there, as far as what his mission is going to be, we're going to see potentially a fight of the year candidate, maybe even a super masterclass, all depending on Williams Zepeda, of course, and what he brings in and how much issues he can give Shakur. But Shakur might be forced to do something something real special, and he might give us something real special Saturday. Of course, we got Edgar Berlanga and Hamza Shiraz as well. That fight can be special as well. But everybody on this card, especially the co-main events, have something really huge to lose and everything to gain. But they have a lot to lose. This might be the last opportunity for Shakur Stevenson to make that final statement that puts him, that removes all doubt from all the detractors. This is a big opportunity for him. And Edgar Berlanga bet on himself. He bet on himself, ladies and gentlemen. He said he felt like he was bigger than the regular program. I'm just not like other fighters, right? So I'm not going to stay with Eddie Hearn. I'm not going to Oscar De La Hoya. I don't care to work with Bob Arum. I'm a big deal. Ever since he fought Canelo Alvarez on the back end of a loss, he feels like he's had a resurgence, a recalibration, a re-understanding, a reintroduction to himself, to the space that, I don't know, maybe we'll see that Saturday night. But then you got Hamza Shiraz on the other side as well, who has a lot to lose. Younger fighter, has more time to build, but at the same time, how many times in your life you can get an opportunity like having a Turki Al-Sheikh having your back, pushing you forward, giving you an opportunity to show and prove. On the back end of a victory here, both these fighters put themselves in a situation to where they are that much closer to a potential sweepstakes, the Canelo Alvarez sweepstakes, right? Of course, you know, not discounting Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford, but this is a big deal. This is a big deal for both these fighters. And, you know, motivation, vested interest sometimes motivate fighters to fight beyond the money. Beyond the money. Sometimes, you know, that's one thing about Turki in the matchmaking. Now, Turki himself is kind of under the magnifying glass as well. His last couple events just didn't show out. The way he wanted them to deliver. And, you know, the detractors in the boxing space, of course, won't let you forget that, won't let him forget that. And, you know, implementing this Tom and Jerry, no Tom and Jerry clause for Turki Al-Sheikh, as he's letting fighters know that he's going to be a little stricter. And these guys might be walking a bit of a fine line now, to where, depending on how your performance is on here, will dictate how our future business is going to look like with each other. So everybody's motivated to deliver really the best version of themselves on Saturday. And, you know, as boxing fans, we stand to win a lot. We stand to gain a lot on the back end of having fighters that are motivated to fight and promoters that are motivated to promote, right? And of course, we have fights on the undercard that we got to talk about as well. Subriel Matias, Alberto Puello. Subriel Matias also having a lot to gain here and a lot to lose, betting on himself. Took that L against Liam Paro, got himself back into a title shot. Not easy fights for Subriel Matias to make, as he was the boogeyman for a long time in the super lightweight division, getting an opportunity at Alberto Puello, who honestly, as each fight goes by, since he's made his return from popping on that PED performance test when he missed his opportunity to become champion with Rolly Romero, jumped into a fight with Gary Antoine Russell, shocked the world to a degree, in my personal opinion. I think a lot of people thought Gary was going to win that fight. In a very close contested fight, still walked away an interim champion as the boxing gods would allow. Devin Haney took a loss against Ryan Garcia and walked away from that WBC title, and Alberto Puello was able to gain and be elevated on the back end of that. And as a champion, defended his title against Sandro Martin, another close contested fight, but still 24 real important rounds for Alberto Puello, who's slowly but surely starting to convince the super lightweight division that he is maybe potentially one of the best super lightweights in the division. Doesn't talk English, not Mr. Marketable, doesn't have a lot of antics behind him, but is able to deliver inside the ring. Subriel Matias getting in front of this guy. His last fight that he lost against Liam Paro, against a boxer, I would argue Alberto Puello is even more of a boxer. Big challenge for Subriel Matias. Puerto Rico versus Dominican Republic. This for the WBC title. On the back end of a victory for Subriel Matias, the super lightweight division becomes super interesting, because now you have Subriel Matias in the conversation of unifications. And you got Hitchens in there. You got Teofimo Lopez, who I haven't heard nothing from for the past 2-3 weeks. And, of course, you got Gary Antoine Russell in there. You know, Subriel Matias becoming a WBC champion is a great, great thing. Great addition to the championships at 140 pounds. And, I mean, Alberto Puello as well. But, you know, the politics behind PBC fighters sometimes get in the way of boxing moving forward as far as unification and things of that nature. So, I mean, we'll see, right? But this is going to be a very important fight. And we have the return of David Morrell as well on that card as well. David Morrell having a challenge in front of him potentially. Let's see what adjustments David Morrell was able to do. Let's see if Ronnie Shields has the attention of David Morrell now to the point to where David Morrell, maybe that fight with David Benavidez was the best thing to ever happen. And what kind of experience did he walk away with in that fight? And what adjustments are we going to look to see David Morrell make to fight a fighter like Katiev, who's about to get in the ring with, who's really gives me personally a little bit of Artur Beterbiev energy. Not all the way Artur Beterbiev, a better fighter, but still those Russians, that Eastern European style, and this guy having that kind of power. Will we see a Murtazaliev and a Tim Tszyu? You know what I'm saying? Is that going to give us that feeling back? Or has David Morrell stepped up and made those adjustments? It is what it is, right? So much to talk about. I swear so much to talk about, right? But you know how we do it. Shout out to everybody who's in the building right now. L-Dub Boxing, the boxing plug in the building. Salute to L-Dub. YG Knight, what's goody, my guy. 2 cents in the building. But of course, shout out to Southwest Dice in the building. Jamal Nixon, salute to you, family. Hope everything is good, man. L-Dub says 20 by 20 is the ring size for the ring card. Turkey wanted 18 by 18. Hamza Shiraz and Alberto Puello said no. I guess Shakur is Tom. Maybe. I got a feeling about L-Dub. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've got a feeling about Shakur Stevenson, man. He's got this look. He's got this aura around him, a dangerous aura, but also, you know, he's giving me Terrence Crawford vibes, dare I say. The man is just so poised. So poised, but so determined, so serious. You know, Turkey's been trolling him. We'll talk about that as well, but unfazed by Turkey's trolls. Matter of fact, responded to the troll in a way that I thought was very becoming of a maturing man. Let's not forget who Shakur Stevenson is and where he's come from. I mean, he's damn near a married man, a father now. He doesn't play games like he probably used to and feed into the nonsense like he used to. Way more in the moment right now. You can see he sees that this could potentially be his moment, you know. And with a Williams Zepeda who's going to be pushing the pace on Shakur, trying to pressure Shakur. Let's see what kind of Shakur we get, man. Turkey's watching, right? Shakur knows that. Turkey's watching. If he didn't know, he definitely knows that. Shout out to No Ma Smile in the building. Salute, says fight week for sure, man. No doubt, man. Lance Meyer in the building. What's good with you, Lance Meyer? Long time no see, family. Hope everything is good, man. Literary Pharaoh. Nah, guy, man. I'm seeing you all the time here at the channel, man. I'm happy to see you in the building, man. Hope you're ready for some real building on some good boxing right now. Ray Davis, my guy, man. Says, peace, Clay. Early day at work surprised me. Went up early. Send me a link. I'll come up in an hour if you want, or I'll wait for the panel. No doubt. Yeah, I'll send the link right over to you. No doubt, man. I'll send it right over to you, Ray. Matter of fact, so I don't even forget it and let it run out my mind. Just send it right over to you. Ray, boom. Send, there you go. I sent it over to you. Let's see here. Dre Day in the building said, Clay, you see Ricky Hat coming out of retirement. Ricky Hatton, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. He got a fight coming up. He's coming out of retirement real quick. Just for probably a little exhibition kind of fight. You know, I don't expect much from him. But Ricky Hatton, yeah, I've seen that he's coming out, man. Hit the like when you come in for sure. Dre Day, Clay, yo, you see HLD, my guy, HLD in the big in the building. What's up, man? You a good hype man to sell a fight. No doubt. We got to sell the fight, HLD. Listen, man, boxing is interesting and intrigued when there's a story behind it, when there's something for you to hold on to going into the fight. When you know what you're looking for going into the fight, that's when the fight becomes interesting. It's not only about the win, it's how they win. It's about the improvements. It's about the last fight they were in comparison to the fight that they're in right now, right? All those intangibles for me make the fight that much more interesting. The story makes the fight that much more interesting. How can either guy win? And we're going to talk about it. We're going to break them down one fight at a time. I want to take a moment, though, real quick here to address something here. And let's get it out the way, right? So we can get into this boxing talk. I'm seeing in the space people are really dealing with this Gervonta Tank Davis, Lamont Roach, the announcement that hasn't been made yet. You can see the space dealing with that. The algorithm is dealing with the reality of things as they are, right? We speculate as to why. We try to put reason behind it and understanding behind why, but there's something about dealing with things in the moment as it is. And as it is in the moment, we don't know what it'll be tomorrow, right? We don't know what it'll be tomorrow. We don't know what it'll be next week. We don't know what the future always holds. But right now at the moment, the fight has not been announced for Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach 2. This hasn't happened. Now, Lamont Roach dropped a video. He's been dropping videos lately a little bit showing what he's doing in the camp. That's positive information. It seems like he's getting ready for something. So Lamont is waiting on something, but we still haven't gotten the announcement yet. And the days are going by. We're getting closer to August 16th. And you start to ask yourself questions as to what's going on in the background. Salute to Mr. Tehran B80 and Bill. Say, Clay, what's good, King? I'm new to the channel. No doubt, Mr. Tehran. Glad to have you here in the building, man. Hope you sub to the channel. No doubt, man. We're going to talk about a lot of boxing. We're going to break down these fights as well tonight. As much as we can. Tomorrow, morning, obviously, we're going back on, and I don't know, man. Sometimes I go forever. Sometimes I end up eating up the show for tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow if we go too far tonight. I ain't going to lie to you, right? But back to the topic at hand. The Tank fans, the fanatics, and not the fans. I'm a supporter of Tank and maybe even considered a fan of Tank, right? It's hard not to be a fan of a fighter who delivers every time he's in the ring the way Tank does. It doesn't stop me from holding Tank accountable for the fights that I want to see him in, or wanting him to be in certain fights, or just whatever have you. Just holding him accountable, holding all these fighters accountable across the board. That's what we do, especially on my position as somebody who's analyzing these fights, watching as much boxing as I'm watching. The activity is everything for me as a fan. I don't know about you guys, but for me, the activity is everything. It's paramount. The activity makes it for me because I'm really not that interested in these fighters outside of the ring. That's just me, right? I hope they're all doing well. Hope they're all taking care of their families. I hope they're, I don't know, sickness or illness or ailments or any kind of bad luck on these fighters. But my interests in boxers are in what boxers do in the ring, not outside the ring. So when they're outside the ring, we're looking to see what's it going to take to get them inside the ring. Matchmaking, dates, activity. Boxing has been moving in a different direction. It's been becoming more international for the past 2 years now. Ever since the PBC left Showtime, the international space has taken opportunity. Specifically, Turkey Al-Sheikh in Saudi Arabia have taken a certain interest into sports all around the world, boxing being one of them. And boxing being what it is, a prize fighting game moved by money, made it very easy for these guys to get into the game. And so we have boxing fans in the space who are not happy with what they see with Turkey. They feel like Turkey's taking away the boxing from them, and they're taking it away from the American space, and they're putting a lot of onus on the back of Turkey's shoulder, but at the same time, not holding their own promoters that they love and support accountable for the current state of American boxing, or holding the fighters accountable for the current state of boxing. Across the street politics, things of that nature. We've been here, guys, right? We've been here. Most of us inside this building's been here for the past 10 years watching boxing, right? So we know what's going on. We know what's been going on with boxing. And any fan like a Turkey Al-Sheikh, for example, or even the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who's been watching boxing the way we've been watching boxing, could definitely see the issues that American boxing specifically, has been going through for the past couple of years. Hence why they took the opportunity to jump into the space the way they did and impact it the way they did. And some people will say, thank God they jumped into the space to impact it the way they did. And other people will say, man, the people who are supporting this are sellouts, right? They don't support American boxing. You got some people who take it even deeper and say that we don't even support American black boxing, right? To support somebody like Turkey Al-Sheikh. And as time goes by, you're starting to notice that a lot of American boxers, black ones, Mexican ones, they're going to Turkey as well, right? They're moving over to Turkey as well. This card coming up in November, you got David Benavidez out of all fighters who you would have thought would have been one of the last fighters to not be fighting under a PBC banner, fighting on a Riyadh season, not even a Ring Magazine fight that's happening somewhere in America, but actually going to Riyadh to defend his WBC title. This card coming up this weekend, we've got Sabril Matias Alberto Puello, PBC fighter on that card. We've got David Morrell, a PBC fighter on that card. So slowly but surely, things are happening and things are moving around. And the fans of Gervonta Tank Davis, right, the PBC, they're trying to make sense of it all, but at the same time, not being given the answers they want from their fighters, from their promoters. They don't have any information to work with. They're speculating, but nothing is moving. And so now the new thing is turn on to the rest of the boxing space and fans, and maybe some of your favorite content creators may be shaming you into maybe they're challenging you and questioning your blackness, your American, your nationalist, your nationalism, right? Your loyalty to the soil, and they're challenging you because for them in their mind, maybe the reason this is happening is because we're selling the sport out. Maybe if we'd boycott and resist and not be as excited about where boxing is right now, maybe boxing wouldn't end up where it's at, right? It's not because of the promoters who are not facilitating the fights for you. You know, David Benavidez is in Riyadh because Turki Al-Sheikh offered him too much money, not because the PBC didn't put an event together for him or wasn't able to win the bid war or whatever have you with Caleb Smith or with Anthony Yardy or whatever have you. It's the fault of Turkey. It's the fault of Saudi Arabia. It's the fault of fans such as myself and yourself who support this that has it where it's at. Here's my thing. Guys, don't let those guys fool you. Don't let those guys fool you. Boxing is moving in a direction like everything else in the world. It's evolving. And with evolution, you're going to have some growing pains. But at the end of the day, it's better. It's better off because there's no longer a monopoly on the game as you know it. There's hope in the game now for the best fights to be made. As long as the fighters get on board and they're willing to cooperate to make the fights happen, the money is there now for the fights to happen. So now it's just a matter about the fighters getting out of their head about their loyalties and what they consider the right thing to do versus the wrong thing to do. And slowly but surely, as you're seeing, the fighters will tend to their careers. And if the career involves them taking a trip to Riyadh or negotiating or becoming a Ring Magazine ambassador or things of that nature, then so be it. That's what it's going to be. And as a boxing fan, you win. You win. We're all winning because of that, right? Don't let these guys fool you. Don't let the bait and switch content, and let me fix my camera a little bit here. Yeah, right there. Get you a little closer. Don't let the content creators who are being detractors, who aren't supporting the evolution of the sport, fool you into believing that there's some sort of nationalism that trumps you getting the best fights that can be made at that time, competitive fights. Don't let them lie to you, man. It is what it is. It is what it is, right? I don't want to get too deep into that topic because it's not that I don't want to give it no attention, but I did want to address it because I'm seeing it, right? I'm hearing crazy stuff in the boxing space. I heard somebody speak the other day about foundationally Black Americans. It's getting deep. It's getting deep out here. And when you start seeing people reach out and start reaching for these talking points instead of talking about the overwhelming amount of boxing going on right now, you start to understand what you're really dealing with. To call it casual energy be an understatement. Boxing is doing well right now. We've got I think I don't know if they announced it on that card yet or if it's on that card, but you got Andy Cruz and Raymond Mortala, if not in negotiations, already negotiated to be on that fight on that Devin Haney card. I mean, we have too many fights to talk about. And we're going to talk a lot about a lot of them tonight. I'm going to dive into him a little bit. I'm going to open the panel up, obviously, of course, so that we can build as a community. You know, it is what it is. Shout out, let me see here. HLD said, damn it, it's Cirky's fault. He got too much damn money. I hate it. I know you do. Lance Moore said, damn, the room's looking dope. Claymore, nice setup. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, man. Literary says Al Sheik is single-handedly reviving the sport of boxing. 100%. And that's what the truth is. Money speaks much louder than words. Boxing is bigger than nationalism. Boxing is global. 100%. 100%, Literary Pharaoh. And that's what we got to recognize, that boxing is an international sport. Don't let nobody, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, your ass into believing that boxing is anything more or even minimizing it to something as little as civil rights or nonsense like that. It's a brutal sport. It's a brutal sport. You know what I mean? It's a brutal sport. It's a brutal sport, man. The best fight the best. That's what we're here for, right? It is what it is. It is what it is, man. So let's talk about this, man. Where do we start off here, man? You know, Mike Coppinger versus Shakur Stevenson. Mike Coppinger, Shakur Stevenson starting to run a little bit of a Howard Cosell Muhammad Ali thing, right? Kind of weird. Shakur Stevenson clearly does not like Mike Coppinger. And Mike Coppinger is a little awkward. And clearly, you know, him dealing with this new job he has now of talking to fighters and interviewing fighters. Mike Coppinger seems to always have been the kind of guy that was, you know, writing the articles, right, on fighters, writing his little newsletters and things of that nature. Now dealing with facing the fighters that he spoke about. In this case, Shakur Stevenson, a fighter who he spoke about, you know, I think he was just keeping it real about how he felt, right? But it's basically rated Shakur Stevenson very low on the pound for pound list, and also, you know, talk negatively about him ever since his lackluster performance against Edwin De Los Santos. Not taking into consideration his hands being injured or the things that he may have been going through as a fighter, just basically taking his shots and giving that raw truth that, listen, his fans have become accustomed to, and they like to see him do it. And we love it too, right? As a content creator, I'm starting to learn that fans really want me to be a little bit more raw with my perspective, with my ideas. They don't want me to ride the fence. They want me to make a decision, right? You know, barbecue or mildew, shit will get off the pot. They don't want to see that neutral shit. And Mike Coppinger delivering his journalism that way, but now dealing with fighters on a face-to-face level, to where he's speaking to them and they get to kind of, like, you know, address issues that maybe they didn't get an opportunity to address before because he's always been hidden in his little office and behind his computer typing his articles. So now Shakur Stevenson and Mike Coppinger have this weird relationship, this intimate relationship now. And Mike Coppinger trying to speak his truth at this grand arrivals. Now you're starting to see Mike Coppinger kind of get into his bag as well, where he's speaking a little bit more frank and not allowing Shakur Stevenson or any other fighters to move him left or right. Is Mike Coppinger well within his right to have his opinion about Shakur Stevenson? Is he well within his right to say, you know what, I need to see more from Shakur? You know, this is entertainment. This is the sweet science of boxing, but this is entertainment. And at the end of the day, the performance you had against Edwin De Los Santos is a no-go. This is not a performance that people are going to, you're not going to make fans this way. You know, your performance against Harringtonian was good, but it did look like there were opportunities in there for you to maybe step on the gas, go hit another gear, and get him out of there. He was trying to get out of there, and you just kind of pulled back. Your fight against Josh Padley, that was a good fight. We would like to see more of that. But going into this fight right here, this is a big deal for Shakur Stevenson. And Mike Coppinger, I think, is highlighting that and letting that be known. And Shakur seems to be growing into this mature space to where he's going to troll Mike Coppinger, but I think he understands. And I think with the look and the vibe that he has right now, I really think we there's a real good chance. I think it's a high probable chance we're going to see something special on Saturday. And I can't wait to see it. In a perfect world, Shakur Stevenson has two healthy hands. No worries about his hand injuries. He's letting his hands go. And how does that fight look? How does a healthy Shakur Stevenson look against a William Zepeda? I got an opinion on it. I got some perspective on it. A lot of people believe that Shakur Stevenson is going to be moving around the ring, standing behind that jab, controlling the distance, and that eventually William Zepeda will walk him down and that Shakur is going to get trapped. I don't think that's a fight we're going to be seeing. I think there's a way to deal with Williams Zepeda. Number one, Williams Zepeda on his front foot, not a good look. Not a good look. So what do I expect Shakur Stevenson to do? I'm expecting Shakur Stevenson to smother Williams Zepeda's offense. That's what I believe we're going to see. He'll be controlling the distance, but he won't be staying on his back foot. It might look like that for the first round or two as Shakur Stevenson processes the data and takes time to see where Williams Zepeda wants to go with it. But I think ultimately when it's all said and done, if Shakur Stevenson was able to walk away with anything from that Farmer fight, as far as Farmer and Williams Zepeda is concerned, is you had to notice that Farmer was able to make Williams Zepeda not as lethal when he was smothering Williams Zepeda's offense. He stood there. Now, he took some shots, and that's not what we want Shakur to do, but ultimately Williams Zepeda became very regular once that fight moved from him running away to him smothering Williams Zepeda's offense. Does Shakur Stevenson have the ability to stand in that paint and work? Yes. I think he has an underrated, which I don't understand how people do it, but I think he has an underrated inside game. His mid-range and his close-range boxing game is underrated. His ability to slip in hooks, uppercuts, body work inside those clinches, work in there is underrated. And I think the power he's able to go ahead and manifest inside that mid-range, close-range space is also underrated. I think you're going to watch Shakur Stevenson smother, take his time, move around. He'll move around, but he'll ultimately end up smothering Williams Zepeda. He'll attack Williams Zepeda inside of Zepeda, throwing those trying to throw those uppercuts and those hooks, and he'll be catching them to the body. He'll be catching them to the body, and he'll be working Zepeda. And before Zepeda realizes it, Zepeda's going to be chasing. He's going to be chasing his breath. He's going to be chasing his energy. He's going to be chasing his will to stay in that fight. That's what I believe is going to happen. Salute Everything Boxing. What's up, Keon? Hope everything is good. And I think that's what we're going to see Shakur do. I think that'll be the mission, at least, keeping in mind that his hands are healthy and he's able to keep his hands together. I also think inside that close range, mid range, there's opportunities for Shakur. There's more opportunities for Shakur to rest and take care of his hands in that space than him running around the ring. I think people are sleeping on Shakur Stevenson's ability to dominate and win the inside game in the exchanges that are going to be happening on the inside and inside that mid-range. I think people are really underestimating his ability to capitalize on that. And also putting Williams Zepeda into a situation where he has to adjust. That's going to be interesting to see as well. If Shakur is able to dominate in those spaces that Williams Zepeda normally dominates in, what does Williams Zepeda do at that point? How does he carry it at that point? It'll be interesting to watch. Panda knows Shakur, knows what Shakur is capable of. How are they training with Williams Zepeda? And how many wrinkles does Williams Zepeda have? How many tools does he have in the bag to bring to the table on Saturday night? I think it's going to be a dominating performance. Dominating performance by Shakur Stevenson. I just don't think Williams Zepeda has that many places to go to when the first plan isn't working. He might have a plan B, maybe, but ultimately after that, I don't think there's too much more than pressure. I think pressure is going to be what he's going to be focused on bringing full circle, and I think Shakur knows how to deal with that. I think Shakur knows how to deal with that, and it's going to be a statement made. It's going to be a statement made. Salute, Teach. Salute, salute, salute. That's what I believe we're going to see happening with the Shakur fight. Very excited to watch that fight, and I'm hoping and I'm praying. I'm hoping and I'm praying that those hands hold up until the end of that fight the way they need to. It is what it is. 2 Cents says, Shakur don't run. He walks fighters down slow and steady. I agree with you, 2 Cents. And my question is, how does Williams Zepeda deal with a fighter who's not on his back foot? And the moment you see Williams Zepeda get on his back foot, let that be a sign and understanding to you guys. That fight's pretty much that much closer to being over. because I never seen Williams Zepeda generate power going backwards. He's a forward fighter. Literary Pharaoh says Zepeda's plan is Literary Pharaoh says Zepeda's plan A and plan B are the same thing. LOL, one-dimensional. Exactly. Now, I said plan B because you never know what Panda's working, because Panda knows Shakur Stevenson, and there'll be adjustments that'll be needed to be made in there. Panda knows that. He's expecting that. So I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of a plan B. But after that plan, I don't know. I don't know. His hands are going to be the factor, man. No doubt. Coach Eddie in the building. Salute, Coach Eddie. Salute, salute, salute. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about Edgar and Hamza, too. But that's where I'm at. I got Shakur Stevenson stopping Williams Zepeda. I'll be honest with you. That's where I'm at with it. I got Shakur stopping Williams Zepeda between round 7 and 10, 7 and 9, somewhere in that range. I think Williams stops him. I think Williams Zepeda dismisses. I think Shakur is going to hit him like 10 shots of amaretto. If you guys know amaretto, you know how amaretto works. It's sweet, it tastes good, and you ignore it. You just drink it, having a good time. You might even mix it with another liquor because you're like, oh, this is more like a chaser. But the reality is amaretto's alcohol content is very high. And I think Williams Zepeda won't realize that he's drunk until about the 6th, 7th shot is when he's going to realize he's hit and his equilibrium is messed up and he's breathing differently. And Shakur is going to start to break, tear away, and I think he stops him. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Shakur stops Williams Zepeda between round 7 and 10. That's why I see it, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out on fight night, man. Don't hold it against me if I'm wrong. Don't hold it against me if I'm wrong, guys. Don't hold it against me if I'm wrong. No Tom and Jerry Turkey tweet trolls Shakur Stevenson. Turkey is starting to have a real good time in boxing, right? He's starting to enjoy himself a little bit more. He's starting to understand the way the sport works. He's starting to really make himself at home in boxing. And at times, the boxing space doesn't know how to deal with Turkey. He'll say things like, we got a ring that shrinks round by round by round, and the boxing space will go, you see what Turkey's doing? You see what Turkey's doing? So he's trolling. He's having a good time. But more importantly, he's realizing what the fan base wants, and he's letting the boxers know in the boxing space that the fans are the most important things. That boxing and nobody is bigger than the program of boxing. And that's great for you as a fan and me as a fan to know that he values how we feel about fights more than anything else. Right? No love lost. But if you're not going to perform on Turkey's card the way you need to, there's a good chance you're not going to be showing up on any future cards when it comes to Turkey. Guys, we got 33 people in the building, 31, whatever have you. Please hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button as you come in. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. So Turkey trolling, having a good time with Shakur, and Shakur is also having a great time with Turkey Al-Sheikh, responding on Twitter with his own Tom and Jerry analogies. And the space, listen, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I mean, some detractors want to use it as fuel to throw shots at Turkey. I don't know how or why, but it's good to go that Shakur Stevenson is showing the maturity to understand what it really means, and it seems like he's ready to step up and show out. I'm looking forward to see that. Now, let's move forward. I'm going to get to Edgar Berlanga and Hamza Shiraz. Right? Well, no, let's stay on that because I want to talk about Floyd Schofield as well and Shakur. I wanted to segue into that, being that we just talked about Shakur. Maybe I should just go ahead and segue into that. Should I just segue into that? So Floyd Schofield Sr. now. Floyd Schofield Sr. back at it, right? On the back end of Floyd Schofield Jr. having that great victory against Evan Farmer. Of course, a lot of people want to interview Junior, but of course, Senior is going to make sure he's in all these interviews. And now Senior has a new position. Well, does he have a new position? No. He's just basically doubling down on a position he had as far as the Shakur Stevenson conversation is concerned. Still putting out these allegations now, doubling down that Shakur Stevenson and his team sabotaged and poisoned his son. Real serious allegations. Real serious allegations. Keon says, every time I bet Shakur to get the stoppage, he gets unanimous decision. Every time I bet him to get unanimous decision, he gets the stoppage. Moral of the story, bet opposite of what I bet on Shakur. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. I got the stoppage on this one. I ain't going to lie to you, man. I really believe it's going to happen. I think Shakur takes over 135 with this fight on Saturday. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he takes over 135. I just got a feeling. We'll see. You know, a lot of things we got to take into consideration with Shakur. So it don't have to be that way. It don't have to be what I think it's going to be. It could be something else, but I got this feeling. Right? But back to Floyd Schofield Sr. Back at it again, doubling down now on Shakur Stevenson and the fact that he has evidence that Shakur Stevenson and his team, at least, or somebody in his team, or had something to do with Junior's medical issues in Saudi, and had something to do with Junior's passports being missing out of his safe, and had something to do with police coming over to his home and accusing him of child trafficking and drug trafficking and finding drugs in his vehicles that he rented and things of that nature. My opinion on it at this point, where there's smoke, there's probably some fire. Don't hold me to it, because I don't want you to be, you might think I'm going in a certain direction that I'm not. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And what's the fire? The fire is that it's important for Floyd Schofield Sr., from his point of view, to control the narrative and the story behind Floyd Schofield Jr.'s issues when he was in Riyadh season, getting ready to fight against Shakur Stevenson. He's doing quality control. He's doing damage control. He's pushing a narrative to steer away from the elephant that's in the room. And the elephant in the room is, if Floyd Schofield Jr. didn't get poisoned, if it wasn't food poisoning, if that's not what it was, then what was it? That's the question. And that makes the biggest difference. Why? It makes the biggest difference because if it wasn't food poisoning, then what was it? Rumor has it, we know that Shakur Stevenson's team and Shakur Stevenson saw Floyd Schofield in Riyadh that week, and a lot of people spoke to the fact and the idea that Floyd Schofield did not look like he was on weight. Questions about how big he was walking around Riyadh season and how close was he to him making weight, to him making 135 pounds, right? Hold on one second here. Boom, 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 boom. Right? We're going to get to that in a minute. So Schofield Sr. does an interview with the Boxing Voice, and he does an interview with Mill City, and he speaks on championships now. And he speaks on specifically the WBC title that Shakur Stevenson holds. And he says, we're no longer interested in championships. Championships don't mean anything anyway. It's just the sanctioning bodies trying to take advantage of you, charge you 3% for what? We don't need championships. Now, guys, if you've been watching Floyd Schofield Jr. and Sr., and especially Sr. speaking on the 135-pound division, when he speaks about Gervonta Tank Davis, when he speaks about Shakur Stevenson, right? When he speaks about the champions at 135, what does he always say? He says, it's nothing personal. We just need to get the titles, and we're going to unify. We want to become undisputed, and those guys just happen to have the belts. I think there's an argument there to say that at some point in time, Floyd Schofield Sr.'s perspective on titles has changed. This has not been the Floyd Schofield Sr. that we've seen over the past couple of years, over the past year and a half to 2 years. This is not the guy. What changed for Floyd Schofield Sr.? What changed? He says he doesn't like the way that the WBC tries to micromanage the weight regulations, right? He doesn't like it. What doesn't he like about the weight regulations, huh? Well, let's look at the WBC weight regulations here. Right here, we're looking at it said, The rules of the WBC have been established: weight divisions, weight and procedures, weight management program. Weight divisions, hold on one second here. Weigh-in procedures. Fighters are required to weigh in without clothes, underwear permitted, 24 to 30 hours before the fight. The WBC also implements a weight management program with weigh-ins 30, 14, and 7 days before the fight, with specific weight limits at each check. A scale is required at the venue for the official weigh-in, and fighters cannot exceed the official weight by more than 10% upon arrival at the venue. Right? The WBC emphasizes the importance of safe weight reduction techniques and monitors fighters' weights to prevent dangerous practices like dehydration. WBC has introduced a mobile app, blah, 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 blah. Encourages collaboration between promoters, managers, trainers, and other involved parties to eradicate dangerous weight cutting practices. Interestingly enough, Senior speaks on and says nobody's going to tell him how his son should weigh, how his son should cut the weight, things of that nature. Coincidence? Maybe. Maybe it's a coincidence, right? Maybe it's a coincidence that all of a sudden he does not want to fight for a WBC title because now he wants to fight Shakur Stevenson and he wants to fight to be in Texas and he doesn't want to be under the WBC sanctioned and body rules. It is what it is. From the outside looking in, however you want to look at it, the biggest thing I can pull away from that situation is that Floyd Schofield Sr. is not fond of the weight regulation and the weight rules of the WBC. Hence, Floyd Schofield Jr., the way he wants his son to cut weight, maybe the PBC is not on board with it. It doesn't leave him space to do it in that way. My thing is, if you can't make the weight, it might be time to take a consideration of moving up to 140. But why would Floyd Schofield Sr. want to keep his son in a weight class, in a weight division, that he's having a hard time making the weight in? Why? I mean, there's some leverage there, right? We understand. Shout out to my guy, Ross Calloway, says that if you're not in the heavyweight division, he says everybody in boxing, except for the heavyweights, are weight bullying because everybody's trying to cut weight and be in a division that they're probably too big to be in order to bring in whatever leverage and whatever advantages they can have in there, right? So a puncher like Floyd Schofield Jr. at 135 pounds, being able to blow up to, let's say, 150 plus pounds by the time he gets in the ring with whoever he's fighting against, gives him advantage. And he wants Floyd Schofield Jr. to have those fights on his resume. I have to lean to the idea that there's probably an issue with Floyd Schofield cutting his weight. At least cutting the weight in a way that the WBC wants him to cut it, right? 30, 14 days, 17 days. 30 days, 14 days, 7 days before the weigh-in, and obviously on the day of the weigh-in as well as the day of the fight as well, not allowed to be over 10% of whatever you weighed in on that day, right? Cutting weight is a very, very, very finicky, sensitive thing. We watched Devin Haney struggle with weight cuts at 135, and even at 140, we saw him have a great weight cut against Regis Prograis. We saw him have a horrible weight cut against Ryan Garcia, compounded with the fact that Ryan Garcia was using performance enhancement drugs and came into the weigh-in on the day, on the day of the weigh-in, 3.5 pounds over the agreed upon weight. We saw the big difference that made against Devin Haney. There's a good argument there to say that the issue that Floyd Schofield had in Riyadh may have more to do with rehydration or dehydration more than any type of food poisoning or any type of issue like that. But look, at the end of the day, Floyd Schofield Sr. wants us to understand that it wasn't that, it was food poisoning. He speaks on having documentation to back up toxicology reports that back up his argument about what really happened, but says he doesn't want to share it with the boxing space, says we should take his word for it, threatens to put out reports against Shakur Stevenson, and says how he could sue him and he's not going into the law and things of that nature, but refuses to push it forward. I think there's an issue potentially there. We addressed it a little bit before he went in the ring with Tevin Farmer, and we're back at it again. We're back at this argument again. to where Floyd Schofield Sr. is trying to cover up his issues with the weight cut, with issues with conspiracy theories of people attacking him and coming to his house at night and planting drugs on him and stealing passports out of his safe and things of that nature. But I think at the end of the day, what we're looking at is potentially a weight cut issue and something that needs to be addressed. And I can understand before Junior goes to 140, you want to have him, achieve some kind of accomplishments at 135 so that he can carry that over into 140 to leverage whatever those accomplishments are to get in the best fights possible, to get right in the conversation of the biggest fights possible at 140. They'll have to weigh it out. I hope everything works out well and Floyd Schofield Jr. doesn't suffer some horrible consequence because of a bad weight cut. But that's where I am on that topic with Floyd Schofield Sr. Everything else is just fun and games, jokes. He's talking a lot of mess. It's cringe at times. It's the way he decides to push his son. He feels like he's marketing his son that way. He feels like, that's the way it's going to be. I'm okay with it. It is what it is. I'll turn the channel off if it gets too cringe for me. But I do feel like there's probably an issue with Floyd Schofield Jr. I think there's a good chance it's an issue with the weight cut at 135. It is what it is. When I open up the panel and you guys come up here, let me know what you think about it. I think it is what it is. Salute Kalia World. Hope everything's good. How you doing, Queen? Yeah. Literary Farah says, I agree, cutting weight is the issue. Oh, you think it's an issue as well? Yeah. I think there's an issue with the weight cut. I do think there's an issue with the weight cut. It is what it is, right? That being said, he made the weight pretty easy versus Tev. He did make the weight. I don't know how easy he made it. Did he make it easy? I don't know. I'll tell you this, though. Senior does not like the way the WBC handles the weight cut, to the point to where he doesn't even want to fight Shakur Stevenson for a WBC title. He just wants to fight Shakur Stevenson without the WBC. He does not like the way the WBC handles the weight regulation. Call it what you want. I don't know. He emphasizes the weight cut. He emphasized it. I almost feel like pulling it up, to be honest with you. Now that I think about it, why didn't I pull it up, right? Let's see here. Let's see if I can pull it up fast. Nice. Schofield. I know I got such fat fingers, bro. I can't never hit these buttons, man. Let's see if I can find it here. Not here. No. Can I find it? I probably should have had it queued up a little while. Is this here? No. Is this it? Let me see here. No. Nope. Yeah, I'm not going to look for it now. I think I'll be here for a little while. Maybe tomorrow I'll have it queued up for you guys. But at the end of the day, he has an issue. He has an issue. He has an issue with the weight cut. I'm not saying Junior even has an issue with the weight cut all the way. I don't know. I think he does. But I'm going to tell you, Senior has an issue with the WBC and how they handle weight cuts. Shout out to HLD. That's what I said to people. People didn't want to believe me. He had to strip naked to make that weight. Cool Breeze says, I don't think the cut is an issue. Senior is the issue. Nobody else has a problem with it. He just said that they want Shakur. But when did he say that, Cool Breeze? When did he say that? Now you got me wanting to pull up this damn video. I'm trying to leave it alone. Hold on a second. How long was it? 23, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Is it right here? Is this it? This might be it right here. Is this it? No, it's not it. Damn, man. Maybe it's in the videos. Let's see if it's in the videos. Is this it? Oh, this might be it. Okay, hold up. Hold on. I found it. Hold on. Hold up. Boom. Let's do it. I hope the boxing voice don't get mad about me using their content. All right, let's take a look at it.
He could keep that. From his whole life, and you got to keep motivating him as a parent. So why would I put him through that circumstance for money? I mean, as a parent, that would be wrong.
Hear that right there.
Okay. Audio sounds perfect.
Okay. The A side isn't about a belt, because a belt gets.
All right, so right here, guys, Schofield's getting questioned about where the fight's going to happen between Shakur and them if the fight happens. And he's campaigning right now for this fight to happen in San Antonio, Texas, or somewhere in Texas. And basically trying to take the position of an A side, and Ness is correcting him, right? Ness is getting him together and showing him that
3% of your purse. Right? They're just a private business that get 3% because you can ask for more money. Since the A side isn't about a belt, because a belt get 3% of your purse. They just a private business that get 3% because you can ask for more money since you got this piece of metal. So if you go by that theory, then I can understand that. But if you go by the theory that we contractors and we work for ourselves, we our own bosses, so we could dictate what we want. And if they don't like the business, they could keep moving.
Yeah. So basically, what he's stating is Shakur Stevenson and the WBC will either operate under their stipulations or the fight doesn't need to happen. So to me, what you're hearing right there is him already letting you know that they don't want the fight with Shakur, right? That's what they're letting you know.
It's that simple. So we don't matter about that. But when the WBA make it mandatory, it don't matter what they say,
right?
Because we hold 2 belts in the WBA. We hold the international, would guarantee us a title shot, and we also hold the continental. So it don't matter what any of them say.
Okay, I see. You're gonna get your shot.
Right. So if we ever did business with them, we would do business, but it's in Texas. It's nowhere else. I'm gonna find somewhere he's protected at, because we went through what we went through, whether people believe it or not. No parent is gonna put their child in danger again where they almost get killed. Why would they do that? Why would I do that? So, but people think it's a bull crap story, so they look it from their view, and that's their view. But me as a dad, I know what we experienced. Well, so I know how we had to get them back home. And so, I'm not going to put myself through that experience again. Then I had to deal with his depression.
Okay, so also I want to on this part right here where he's speaking on here, I wanted to be clear that they definitely went through something in Saudi Arabia, right? The question is, what was it that they went through? Rumors were circulating that the toxicology report came out and found nothing adverse in the toxicology report, right? That's what the rumors were. I don't know, right? But he's basically saying that something else happened. But also, he speaks towards Floyd Schofield Jr.'s depression, his mental space. Guys, remember at the end of that fight with Tevin Farmer, the emotional release that Floyd Schofield Jr. had, the crying and how emotional he was. On the back end of losing that fight against Tevin Farmer, there's a good chance that Floyd Schofield Jr. was going to leave boxing. Matter of fact, Floyd Schofield Jr. did an interview with my guy, Mill City, where he spoke on that, said he didn't even tell his father how he was entertaining leaving boxing. He didn't want to be in boxing anymore because of how much stress was on him on the back end of him not being able to fight against Shakur Stevenson in that fight, and how the boxing space was treating him, where he ended up going mentally with it, right? There's an argument to say that the father's antic-driven, propaganda-driven social media campaign applied more pressure to Floyd Schofield Jr. than maybe needed to be applied, right? because your pressure you thought you were applying to Shakur, or you thought you was promoting the fight. It was really just stacking up on Floyd Schofield Jr., who had the whole world on his shoulders, right? He had the whole world on his shoulders. It was what it was, right? But let us continue.
Get my son, kids sometimes kill themselves. Not saying he would do nothing like that, but that's real from a parent standpoint.
Yes,
when a child do that and lose $1 million, an opportunity that they chase their whole life, and you got to keep motivating them as a parent. So why would I put him through that circumstance? For money? I mean, as a parent, that would be wrong. So once you look at it from that view, no, if they want to handle business, we can handle business in Texas. And it's that simple. We don't even want Shakur WBC belt. He could keep that. They could keep all of that, their belts. We want the fight. We want the legacy. They could keep all the belts. They could keep the money. We don't ask for a lot of money. Not one time have we asked.
Okay, right there, you're seeing him basically state that he's trying to hint at you can keep the belts. We don't need the belts. Well, you're not going to fight Shakur Stevenson and not fighting for his belt, right? That's not going to happen. I don't know how many times that's happened in the past, unless it's a catch weight fight or something, which is another interesting angle to kind of look at this from. But at the end of the day, you're not going to fight him and not fight for the belt. But they're trying to regulate it, and they're trying to get outside of whatever it is that makes him uncomfortable. They left Saudi Arabia. That was one thing. But now they're trying to get away from the belt, right? They're trying to get from under the regulation of the WBC sanctioned by. Let's let it continue.
For a lot of money. 2.5 ain't a lot of money when they're going to make $100 million on the back end for commercials and all that other shit. From a businessman to say, break us a piece of the pie too. So people look at it from that view, but they're not looking at the protection and security you got to hire to have camp. So spies not coming through there. So gunmen not coming through there. So it's more than that.
It's
money.
Well said from a manager's perspective. I can't see me going into any sport, and if there is no other, I don't care. Great, you're not getting in.
Like Floyd said, belts don't matter. They collect dust. And that's what one of the greatest of this ever say. Hold on, give me a second. That's what one of the greatest of this ever say. But from my standpoint, you got to remember you're a God. God tell you not to worship idols. A belt is an idol. You are the God. You're
Nah, he's about to go into his nonsense, right? The nonsense now is that the belts don't matter. He's a God, and they can dictate this. This was not Floyd Schofield Sr. last year. This is a grown man. We learn every day. We evolve and we learn every day. But this man was not talking like that last year, right? But now that's what he's trying to do now. He's trying to manipulate, sell the boxing space a new narrative, and sell the idea of Floyd Schofield Jr. fighting at 135 pounds without being underneath the rules and regulations of a sanctioning body. Let's let it continue.
You're the value. You can shake your head, but this is fact. You're the value. You're the one having this experience. You go chasing a belt, not you, but somebody do that. They get injured in the ring. They get brain damage. How valuable was that belt? When the medical bills come, and look at it, a lot of former champions went through that. The medical bills come later on in life. How valuable is that belt? So if you cannot tell these people that belt is more valuable than their health. That belt is more valuable. No, you fight who you want to fight. You determine your rules because this is your life. Forget a belt. This is your life.
He's easing into something here, right? What is he easing into? He's talking about health. He's talking about your life is on the line. He's easing into the weight cut. He's easing into the WBC regulation of the weight cut.
Die in there. That's what we're going to tell the young fighters, the truth. You could die in there. Over 200 fighters die every year in the ring, and they don't report it. So we're not going to say chase a belt. Chase your dream and value you, because they're going to take 3% of your money. Like, come on, that's slavery. No matter what you say, if they're not doing the work and you doing the work, that's slavery. So
So now it's slavery to fight for a belt. So now he's making a stance, right? The stance is we not standing for slavery. We're not gonna fight for belts.
To go chase that. That's their master then.
Okay.
Round one, step back. You keep talking over him. Step back.
Yeah, and I'm not violating those rules. I'm not saying nobody chase your belts, but when you get on certain levels, you understand those belts don't mean shit. Those belts don't mean nothing when you got to pay your staff, when you got to pay the doctor bills after the fight, when you got to pay the life insurance, the hand insurance, all this, the doctor bills. I mean, there's so much involved. So when you ask for 2.5, understand you only bring it back only like 1.4 after Uncle Sam and the stepbody chasing money. I'm not being greedy.
You know, it was that I was like, you don't have this inbox and who are you to that?
Let me give you another example then, brother. And I'm not trying to change the view. Let me give you another example. How many belts have Ali won?
Ali, but that was a different era. It was a 2-belt era.
That's your opinion. Just give me a number. How many belts?
No, I remember the character that I'm champion.
You're not going to answer the question, man. We got to keep it real. We're going to keep it real. Do you remember
on the GOAT podcast?
Brother,
do you remember Ali? Is that simple? You remember Ali, not the belts. So my point exactly, the belts don't matter. When Ali was fighting his biggest fights, it wasn't for no belt.
He already established himself.
If you got a big enough name, remember it's business. Don't get emotional in here. Not just you, everybody else. All they care about on the back end is could you fill those.
He's speaking on the strength of an established fighter like Muhammad Ali. By the way, I don't know. I'm not a big historian, but I'm pretty sure when Muhammad Ali fought Joe Frazier, there was a belt involved. I'm pretty sure when he fought George Foreman, there was a belt involved. I'm pretty sure when he fought Son. I don't know. I don't know the exact, exactly. I'm not the big historian, right? But the thing about it that's ironic is that this man was not talking like this last year. What changed? What changed? I'm really trying to find a section when he talks about the weight cut, the WBC and their weight cut stipulation. Be patient with me, guys.
Can you get the sponsor?
Are you elite without the accomplishments? Right? You have to do something in order to be elite. Like right now, no one is going to consider Abdullah Mason elite. So that's why elite can only be accomplishments. That's why it can only be accomplished. What you do in the sport is how you're perceived.
Now, can I answer that?
So, like, look, if we keep it to your son, he just beat his first former world champion. That's an accomplishment. That's better than beating, fringe contenders or journeymen. A former world champion is an accomplishment.
We on the same page, but you don't have to fight for a belt. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not.
The belts don't make an accomplishment. If we fought Tank Davis and it wasn't for a belt, that ain't a mega fight. And if we beat Tank, that ain't an accomplishment.
No. But you see, you got to let me answer. It's a mega fight because of Tank's popularity. And it's an accomplishment because Tank has accomplished 3 division world titles. He is pound for pound.
We on the same page.
So now you beat Tank and you beat a dude that was a 3-division champ.
Can I speak? If he fight us, we don't fight for his belt and we beat him while he's still champion, would that not be an accomplishment?
Absolutely, because you beat a 3-division champ.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have to fight for the belts. That's all I'm saying. The belt don't mean shit. That's all I'm saying. The accomplishment, let me finish. So give me one.
One word. And I'm giving you a serious case of reality. You talking some.
How is that reality?
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to like chill. This is wild. You wilding right now.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone at this point, right? I'm not gonna continue. You guys can go catch your interview, right? At the end of the day, what you're watching is Floyd Schofield's game plan and narrative for his son is to get his son outside of fighting under sanction and body rules. And he's focused on it because of the weight cut. That's what he's doing. He's doing it because of the weight cut. He's doing it. He's not doing it because 2.5%, 3%. That's not what he's doing. He's sitting on WBA titles right now. 2 of them, as he stated, and he's paying sanction and body fees on those titles. He was never complaining about it before. That's not what he's complaining about now. What he's complaining about is what happened to his son in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia, which was a bad weight cut, in my opinion. And the bad weight cut has put him in a position where he's becoming defensive. And what he's not entertaining doing, right now at least, is the natural thing to do, which is move up to 140. He still wants to keep his son down there at 135. And it's going to be interesting to watch it all come together. And I'm going to add to it and say that I believe they're counting on the idea that they're staying there because they think they're going to get the WBA to strip Gervonta Tank Davis of his WBA title. And they're willing to become email champions. They're willing to become email champions. Salute, Ross Scott. What's good, family? They're going to try to leverage that. And then once they get that WBA title, maybe then they'll be interested in making other fights happen on unifications, being that now they won't fall underneath any specific weight cut regulations or things of that nature. They won't fall underneath the WBC, the IBF, or the WBOs, whatever regulations that are out there with those sanctioning bodies. I know the WBC has the ones that I just put in front of you, and obviously we know how the IBF gets down. That's what they're looking to do. They're gonna mess around and hang in that division a little too long and get in front of some real punchers at 135, and potentially they might even suffer going up to 140 if they hang out too late at 135, because Kid is growing. He's growing, which means at 23 years old, he can have a growth spurt and be even bigger than 140. Right? He can be even bigger than 140. He can not even be able to fight at 140 without the weight cut, without being drained at 140. So do you move now? You move now, or do you wait? W is not turning on Tank for Kid Austin. He's dreaming. Exactly. They're not. They're not. His opportunity is going to be Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda, the winner between those two fights. And we're assuming it's going to be Shakur. He's going to have to walk away and turn away from that Shakur Stevenson fight. And he's going to try to play the game, whether it needs to be in Texas and the WBC being involved in some nonsense. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let's move on. But I did want to address that. I did. Floyd Schofield Jr., Sr., the situation that's manifesting in front of us. I think we're looking at something that's deeper than, just shit talking. I think what we're looking at is a young man who's growing up into a grown man. He's growing into his body. He's maturing. His balls are dropping. And we're dealing with some transitional issues that Senior doesn't seem to be comfortable with. I could be wrong, right? We'll see what happens. I want to get into Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga. Get into that fight, guys. Very interesting fight, I think, for both these guys. For Edgar Berlanga, I think that people aren't taking into consideration some things about Edgar Berlanga, right? Now, as emotional as Edgar Berlanga can be, and as gung-ho and overzealous as he's become to get those knockouts, being that he started his career off with those 16 straight knockouts. I think he has 17 first-round knockouts in his career right now. A real puncher to the heart and the core of him, right? People sleep on the fact that this guy's been boxing ever since he's been 6 years old. And that's important, right? I think it's important because I think people are underestimating Edgar Berlanga's ability to box and compete with the best boxers at 168. Hamza Shiraz is coming into this fight the boxer, without a doubt. And he has the physical attributes, the long arms, he's tall, he fights tall, right? There's argument there to say that Hamza Shiraz may be the bigger fighter in that ring against Edgar Berlanga. Probably will be the bigger. And obviously he's taller than Edgar Berlanga, right? But even just in the weight cut, just a bigger fighter naturally. Longer arms. He punches with both hands. Very disciplined, very good jab. Very patient, very poised, very cerebral. And you got Edgar Berlanga, who I think has that pedigree. The question is he going to be able to tap into that when fighting against Hamza Shiraz? And I think we have to factor in Andy Lee in this situation, his ability to put a game plan together that Hamza Shiraz can buy into, execute properly, and rain a lot of issues on Edgar Berlanga's parade. I'm leaning towards Hamza Shiraz to win this fight. I think Edgar Berlanga has a lot of pressure on him. I think he's in New York. I think he has a lot of eyes on him, and I think he has a pressure on him to give a big show. And that big show may involve him taking a lot of chances, putting a lot of pressure on Hamza Shiraz, and he might make Hamza Shiraz's job easier off the strength of Hamza could use that aggression to walk him into a lot of bad shots. I'm not gonna lie. I think Edgar Berlanga has a lot of intangibles. Obviously, the punching power being one of them. The will is another one. That will is going to play his part in this fight. But if Hamza Shiraz can navigate that aggression inside those first 3 to 5 rounds, I think he's able to get a control of the young bull, of the bull, Edgar Berlanga. Outscore him, or maybe even, probably. I don't see him stopping Edgar. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't see him stopping Edgar Berlanga. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I wouldn't be shocked to see Edgar Berlanga get sat on his pockets, but I think he can outpoint Edgar Berlanga and he can win more rounds. Out of 12 rounds, I think he can win the majority. 7 out of 5, 8-4, 7 out of 5 rounds. I can see Edgar Berlanga doing that. Yeah, I see you, Roscott, talking about he got whooped in his last fight, but I think people aren't taking into consideration that he had some injuries in that fight. I know we don't like to make excuses in boxing. We don't make excuses, but shout out to Showbiz, who once said, there's excuses and then there's reasons. I think having hurt hands and also, maybe a bad weight cut. Going into that fight, most people thought Hamza Shiraz was going to beat the brakes off of Carlos Adames. Most people thought that for good reason, because of the talent that we've seen in him, right? Most people felt that way.
What up?
Salute, Ray. What's good?
Was chilling. Being the villain right now, man.
You outside?
I'm outside. Yeah. I'm not on my shift, so I'm cheating a little bit. I'm cut some slack, not get in trouble, but do my thing.
Oh, you're not really on.
Yeah, break, man.
I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I get a 45 later, but I'm on a different shift, so I get a half hour. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna take advantage of the time.
No doubt. What's good with you though, man? You hear what we tapping into? What do you think about the Floyd Schofield situation? Just to kind of go back to, I know I got you for a limited amount of time. So the Floyd Schofield, did you get a chance to hear me building on that?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I mean, we talked about this on multiple occasions in private. It's definitely some uncharacteristic questioning going on by his dad to sanctioning bodies and things of that nature. He's definitely went from planet A to planet Z real quick. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To acknowledge that certain things in the middle ain't working, so we need to go over here and stay here, and we can still do it on planet B. You know what I mean? Like it's real odd the way he was moving. So that whole, like we seen him, bro. Did you see how small he looked? Pause. It's like face shrunken in, and you could see he had a bad weight cut.
And he had to get butt naked to make that weight.
Right. And I was gonna say that too. I was gonna say, and he had to lose, like, take everything off, and I think it was to no surprise, no avail, that it's time for him to move, bro. He's always been one of the heavier guys in the division. Yes, he made weight coming up from 130. He was making it easier, but these guys got to know they go through these growth spurts, man. And even though they're young adults, they still grow. The mass doesn't stop growing. You may stop growing taller. You may stop. You know what I mean? Like filling in as an adult to a certain degree, but the mass doesn't stop. Especially when you're an athletic person, the muscle still develops. You have
especially at 23 too, right? Like 23,
right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're still developing. So usually you don't reach your full adulthood till about 20, 25, 26. And that's when you start, that's when your body starts going through changes and all that. So yeah, man, he's definitely a 147 pounder. He's just too short. And they're trying to, it seems to me he's trying to take a page out of both Floyd Mayweather and Bill Haney's book. By keeping him down there, maybe having these guys still put the belts on the line, blah 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 blah. Even though he's going to miss weight, just throw it in there. You know what I mean? You got to remember, Tank beat what's the name for the WBA title, Gamboa, and he didn't make weight. They still kept it going, right? He beat Leo Santa Cruz and didn't make weight.
Right.
You know what I mean? We talk about weight bullies today, but you know, no disrespect to Tank. This is not a slight. And the same thing with Devin, right? Everybody's complaining about how Devin stayed at 135 too long. He knew what he was doing. Earl Spence, same thing. Like, they're weight bullies. So it's funny that it looks like he's doing it purposely. You know what I mean? It's not like he's doing it like just to stay fit, stay in the boxing, and we got to get up out of here. No, it looks like he's trying to hurt these guys. Like, he wants to do it to hurt these guys. These other guys are looking just to claim belts, right? They were claiming belts and doing things to get accolades, as Ness was alluding to in his content. That's why Ness said he's full of shit. Yeah, literally, because
Ness was trying to wrap his mind around something that just made absolutely no sense, right? He was just like, he's trying to find out. He was trying to make it make sense. Like, why are you saying this? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And I don't know if he wasn't connecting the dots. I feel like he was connecting the dots, but he didn't want to accuse him of nothing. But he just was trying to get into that point where it was like, you know, I'm gonna corner you until you have nowhere to run, and you have to run into the elephant into the room, which is your son having
exactly.
a problem his weight?
Want him to say it, but he wasn't going to say it, right? Yeah. So that being said, that's how, like, he got to the point where he's like, yo, he literally told him, like, basically, bro, you're full of shit. Like, you're sitting here putting on this bullshit ass masquerade of all these things and sicknesses and ailments and people doing stuff to you, when it's you're stressing your son out to keep him at a division he don't belong in. You're the one that's making your kid do it. Something's wrong with you. And I'm telling you, Clay, as I told you before when we were in private, this dude is an egomaniac. He's egotistical. He doesn't. I don't even think he cares about his son. And I would hate for a situation, and I don't wish this on anybody, but I would hate for a situation to go so bad where something tragic comes out of this.
Yeah, like he gets.
You know what I mean?
He gets hurt real bad. Like
he gets hurt, or he snaps and flips out on his dad, or his dad snaps and flips out on him, and something bad happens. This is not a good look in the industry. You can hear it.
What do you think about, you know, we watched Devin Haney go from 135 to 140, have one fight at 140, then literally the next fight had a bad weight cut again. He was right there again, like right back in that conversation. So a lot of people felt like he hung out at 135 so long that he actually outgrew 140 as well, right? Like he stayed at 135. By the time he got to 140, he couldn't even really make that weight in a comfortable way.
I don't agree with that one. I think that the task of 140 was him putting on all that muscle for Ryan Garcia. Like, if you notice and you watch the videos with Ryan Garcia, he was in his training. All he was doing was deadlifts, powerlifting. Like, everything was all about power, all about putting on mass. So he was purposely putting on mass. And I think when you put on all that muscle, he left little room for fat. He left little room for hydration cuts. So all that water that left his body was not natural waters that he's supposed to drain. It was all really fibers, like stuff for his muscles, like acids and stuff that he needs in his body. So I think that's why Devin looks so bad. And once you start doing stuff like that, I'm not a nutritionist, by the way. Let me not put stuff out there that may be false. But you can see the buildup and how Devin looked. Devin, believe it or not, as skinny as he looked against Ramirez, Devin looked like he was about the size of what's his dude name? He about to fight Brian Norman when he was working out before he made the weight cut. And then when he made the weight cut, it looked like he shrunk down and his body didn't even replenish right. If you look at Devin versus Ryan to Devin versus Regis, right? Devin looked more comfortable. Like his body looked like it filled in perfectly. Regis. When he went with Ryan, he didn't look like he filled in. He looked like he was like he was stuck in almost an Earl Spence thing. You know how everybody say Earl looks smaller than Terrence? Same thing. Just didn't look right. So I think he learned something like, look, man, I done put on this muscle now and I need to move up and I need to gradually do it. And you heard him after the fight. He says, when I do my next fight or whatever I fight again, it's going to be at the weight I want. You know, whether it's 144, 147, whatever, I'm going to play around there. I'm not going to go down to 140 and kill myself no more. I'm not going to go to 135. It's going to be somewhere between 142 and 147. He clearly said that in one of his interview. So
Yeah, but you don't think
rather
that
we
he
look.
hung out. You don't buy into the idea that he stayed at 135 too long, and
Yeah,
that
he
cost
definitely did. Oh no. Yeah,
right.
dude, he
So
was
that and
absolutely
that being said, that when he went to 140, that he may have already his body may have even outgrew 140 before he had a real chance to compete at 140. That once he
it could.
kind of
It's
allowed his
possible.
body, right? Once he allowed himself to eat and work out and do the things he was
Right.
restricting himself from doing at 135, that his body probably just took it and went. And it was hard to get it to it just went to the point to where the weight cut by the time the Ryan Garcia fight came along, he wasn't able to. And the reason I'm saying that, right, I don't want to stay on the Devin Haney topic too long, right? What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
can Floyd Schofield Jr. stay at 135 too long to the point to where he finally he gets forced up to 140, that he's having bad weight cuts at 140 even now because his body had a growth spurt that pushed him past 140, and now you're in a situation where you're chasing him down, you're trying to make him stay at 140, but he can't even make that comfortably anymore. Now he has like this
Okay.
Like, is right now the time to move to 140, take advantage. He's 23 years old, growing. If you wait there too long at 135, how complicated can the 140 transition be?
Right. So you mentioned earlier about him having to get accolades to move up, to make sense for him to move up, right? In the sense of him, like what Ness said, you just had a great fight. You just beat a former champion. The time is now. Yes, if he's going to move, now is the time. You just came off a great victory, right? You showed that you're strong enough to punch up there. Now it's time to put your chin to the test and your skills to the test and move up to 140 to fight. Maybe Oscar's got a lot of guys at 140 too. If you actually look at his stable, he's actually got a lot of guys there to fight Kid Schofield. 140, 147. So that's a perfect move for him if he decides to move. I don't see why not. If he's going to sit there and play at 135 and he just wants to get one of these guys under his resume, then he ain't doing nothing but fooling himself. And his dad's just doing it because he wants the paydays. He wants the name recognition. He wants the fame. And I think sometimes people get sucked into this fame thing, like this whole clout chasing type thing, as you mentioned earlier. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's not a good look for him at all.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting space for them to be in. I think Schofield Sr. seems to be wanting to take advantage and get the biggest fight he can get at 135 while he's still there with his son, but he doesn't want to be underneath the sanctioning body rules. It is what it is, right?
Right.
Let's move the needle a little bit into the Edgar Berlanga Hamza Shiraz conversation, just a little bit. Speaking on Hamza Shiraz being the poised new fighter with the adjustments he's made with Andy Lee and Edgar Berlanga, who is betting on himself right now. There's a lot of pressure on Edgar Berlanga, right? He bet on himself. He said he's not a regular fighter. He wasn't going to go underneath the regular deals that other fighters got. And he got the phone call. Turkey said, listen, I got a fight for you. Fight my guy, Hamza. We'll make you guys the headline in the old city, right? Put you against Hamza, who's coming off of a lackluster performance against Carlos Adames at 160. First fight at 168. It's a big opportunity for Edgar. So Edgar takes the opportunity. He's probably going to get a decent payday. But in all reality, Hamza Shiraz going into the Carlos Adames fight was the next one. When we spoke about Hamza, we're like, this kid right here is the truth. He's going to shake it up. We wanted to see him against Janabek. We thought he was ready for that.
Yep.
Right? But he had this performance against Carlos Adames. He had the performance. We got to hold him accountable for what happened. Carlos Adames beat him that night as far as we're concerned, right? We watched the fight. It ended up in the draw, but we know the truth. And I think Hamza knows what the truth is. But now, look, it's a new day. It's 168. What kind of Hamza Shiraz do you think you're going to see? You're looking forward to see on Saturday?
Listen, you're going to laugh when I tell you this. It's the opposite, but this is how I'm predicting the fight to go. So I'm predicting the fight to go, and I want you guys to really picture this. Big Baby Anderson versus Bacoli, number one. Hype job versus a boxer that can box. That's number one. Number two, what I see is Hamza coming up from a division is faster, got more reach advantage, and probably gonna have more pop at the end of his jabs and his punches than Berlanga coming down and losing the weight. Because I seen the little face-off today, and Berlanga looks very, very in shape. I don't want to say he's in shape. He looks very small for a guy that usually walks around 200 pounds. He didn't look like he was like he was when he in the first press conference when they did the presser back in for the announcements. So Berlanga might be in trouble here, man. And if I don't even see him putting on the power. He's going to have to put on every inch of weight, water, hydration, whatever he can do going in because he's already on weight. Berlanga, and that's not a good thing because if he still has weight to lose and he's on weight now, and he has to lose like another 5 to 10 pounds, let's just say, Clay, he's going to be sunken in, and we should be talking about him being at 175, possibly a cruiserweight at this point. He should not be in the ring with a Shiraz who's moving up and doesn't really going to have, is not going to have none of these weight issues that he's going to have, and that's going to be a problem for him. But yeah, I think we're going to see a very, very keen ass whooping from a younger, faster, smaller, but taller and rangier fighter, and Shiraz on Berlanga.
Yeah. Edgar Berlin, shout out to Blaze Pound from Pound TV in the building, by the way. Shout out to my brother Blue Blood Sports. I've seen you in the building, Blue. Salute, family. Edgar Berlanga is taking this very seriously. You can tell. He understands. He's having a reality check. There may be a resurgence of Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga has been boxing since he's been 6 years old. People don't speak about that enough. What he can do versus what he chooses to do. He can box, bro. He has movement. He has power.
Right.
Hamza has never, I can say Hamza's never been in the ring with an Edgar Berlanga before. Hands down.
Right.
His ability to deal with the aggression that Edgar Berlanga is going to bring, and it's one of those fights where I don't know what's going to happen until about the second round, third round. Once I see Hamza dealing with Edgar Berlanga's power, I just don't know how he's going to deal with it. I think Hamza can win this fight. I think he can win it on points. I think he can win rounds. He's going to have some poise. He's going to have some patience. He's going to have to buy into Andy Lee's program. That's that Crump program. Edgar Berlanga is going to have to put some chill on his aggression and take his time to set up his offense. Whoever jumps the gun is probably going to pay the ultimate price. This is a real 50-50 fight, in my opinion. I legitimately think it's a 50-50 fight.
Remember you said something about him not being able to stop him, right? I think in my opinion, I think he's going to beat Berlanga so bad he's going to quit, man.
No way.
I see that happening. Listen, it's just crazy. Okay, listen.
In New York, in front of his father.
Listen,
in front of
it don't. Okay, we'll see.
Mr. Pete,
listen,
he ain't doing that. He ain't going out like that, bro.
Clay, I hope not.
He's not doing it.
I hope not. But
I just
listen,
can't see it.
Anything's possible, man. I think Shiraz, if everything is saying to what he made as a point before, and I'm looking at the way he's built, he's making it happen. How he's fought before, I think he beats him into submission, man. It happens. Listen, it happens, bro.
Yeah, stuff happens, but there's too many intangibles. His father, who was in prison, is going to be there. His Fat Joe, the whole terror squad is going to be there. Pistol Pete's going to be there. In New York, his whole city's going to be there. He's too prideful. He's talked way too much. Give up? No giving up. No giving up.
And that's when it usually happens. That's when it usually happens.
I don't see
Listen, if he don't give up, somehow, some way they're going to stop this fight. He's going to be beat up, bro. Hamza's going to beat him up, like clearly beat him up. They think I'm crazy. I know they think I'm crazy, and I'm selling wolf tickets. But yo, if Berlanga doesn't knock him out, he's going to get beat up. Berlanga has no choice but to knock him out. You need to get him up out of there because Shiraz is going to use every advantage of that ring and every advantage of that length and that jab and beat down.
Nick J said his people going to throw the towel in. Coach Eddie said Zab got knocked out in New York. Yeah, man, he definitely did, man. Who knocked him out in New York? Was it Miguel? Was it Miguel or was it No, was
Zab Judah got knocked out by it wasn't Tim Zoo's dad.
No, that wasn't Tim Zoo's dad.
No, it wasn't
Miguel. It had to
Tenz's
be
dad.
Miguel Cotto.
Nah, it was
It was Miguel, bro.
All right.
Was it
Maybe.
Miguel?
I don't know.
Oh, Carlos Baldomir. Yup.
That's what I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking of when you said it. Bone slipping.
Yup.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. I couldn't think of his name. That's why I said I don't think it was Cotto.
Cap. Okay.
But yes, that's who it was. Carlos Baldomir. Yup. I knew it was somebody. That's why I was like, nah. You said Miguel Cotto. I was like, nah.
NYC though. Yeah, quitting is different. Quitting is different. I don't see the quitting. No way. Berlanga can out pressure him. Train this hard for nothing. I got him winning. Training hard is one thing. I'm gonna tell you right now, the big thing for Edgar Berlanga ain't gonna be about the training. I know he trained hard. I know he ain't sleep on Hamza. I know he's taking the situation very seriously. It's gonna be emotional control for me for Edgar. Is he gonna be able to keep his emotions in check? Hamza's going. I believe there's gonna be a point in this fight where Hamza gives him a reason to get derailed from the game plan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
How
does he deal with a jab that he can't get around for some reason? Or like he swings a couple
frustration, man.
Air. What does he do?
I'm telling you, it's gonna be so much frustration on Edgar. He's gonna get aggressive. He's gonna get super aggressive, and it's gonna come to a point where I'm telling you, he's gonna quit. It's gonna be aggressive. His way of fighting in the like the way he fought Canelo, it's gonna be similar to that, but he's gonna get hit a lot more. He's gonna get a lot more punishment, man. He gonna be like, look, you're gonna find out why Bob Arum said, yo, you gotta go. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, look, man,
he's gonna have some trouble.
Hamza definitely taking it very seriously, and Shiraz knows what's on the line. He knows he's getting that conversation. I promise you, before he gets in there, Turkey's in that locker room, like, yeah, you know what this is. You know what this is.
Right.
Saudi Arabia want me to send you a message. Yeah. He wanted me to tell you personally. He put me on a mission to come here and tell you personally. Yeah.
Right.
And that's the message. Yeah. The message is yeah. So I'm gonna go back out to my ringside seat and I'll see you out there. You know what I'm saying? And Hamza gonna dial in. I know he's gonna be dialed in. He's gonna be dialed in. The question, I'm leaning towards Hamza to win this fight. That's where I'm at with it. I'm leaning toward Hamza to win this fight. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I just don't think it's gonna be. I don't see an Edgar quitting. I don't see that.
Listen, there's a lot of things we don't see.
I have a hard time seeing Edgar getting knocked out as well, but I can see Edgar getting sit in his pockets more than once.
I think he runs into something that stuns him. That's the beginning of his lost quest. I think that's when his quest starts going. He starts questioning himself. He's like, "Yo, what the hell?" You know what I mean? And then the confidence of Hamza builds from there. And I think that's when you start seeing the aggression, and he's gonna run into the jab wall, bro. And them jabs gonna eat him up alive. And when he try to get close and maybe make the body work, he's gonna get caught with hooks and all types of stuff. Hamza gonna stay outside of that. He's gonna keep his distance. Like phone booth wise, it's gonna be bad, man.
L-Dub said more than the glove Gary Payton.
yeah, man. You're right about that.
Is the boxer's prime predicated on age or performance? In other words, what's the prime boxing age for a fighter? Is it age 25 to 29? I don't know. Listen, man.
That's a great question.
I've seen fighters catch it later. Like when you think it's about over, they have like a second. You know what I mean? I mean, you saw George Foreman come in late. You know what I mean? After his career came back and had the great second half to his career. But I think it is performance to a degree and age, but I think it's experience comes together. And I think once a fighter, I think it's a mental thing. I think it's a psychology. Once a fighter comes to the reality of understanding who they are, and they're not uncomfortable acknowledging their strengths and their weaknesses, and they're no longer trying to prove it to anybody else but themselves, I think that's when a fighter becomes complete. I don't know how you feel, Ray.
No, you're right. That's 100%. I think it's not so much of an age thing. I think it's just like you said, experience. I think the prime is like when you get comfortable in yourself, when you're able to do things comfortably, and it becomes repetition where the muscle memory's there. Start seeing what they call it, like when you're in a tunnel vision, and everything you see is at that point. Um, as a fighter, this is me talking outside the box. You know what I mean? I'm not a professional fighter, so I can't say. But I think the body gels. It works with the mind. Almost like an ultra instinct type feel. You know what I mean? It's
Is
just
that
it's a
something that's
natural thing.
affiliated with age? Is that an age thing? Like, is that a
It comes with age, but I mean, does it come with age as much as it comes with experience? Because some people grow, some people mentally grow and they connect with their body before, you know what I mean, some other people do. Some people some people move as they grow, they gain experience. I just think it's more of an experience thing. But it could be either or. I really don't think there's an answer to that, but I'm trying to answer it
I
because it
think
was a good question.
there's case scenarios for either scenario. I think, at the end of the day. Well, I think everything comes together at the end of the day. So when everything is aligned and comes together. Hold on, not here. Oh, not that one either. Where was it at? There was another one on here I wanted to tap into here. Where is it? Let's go away. Andy Lee. I can't find it. It is what it is. Hold on. It is what it is. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. But I think 50-50 fight. I'm leaning toward Hamza Shiraz, but I'm very interested in who Edgar Berlanga is going to be. He's going to have to control that jab. Is going to have to be there for him. He's going to have to work that jab, and he's going to have a successful jab. Now, Hamza's going to have a jab that's going to work. I think he wins that game, the jab game. And that's why I gave it to Hamza. I think the one who controls that jab and is able to set those shots up, I think Hamza is going to be able to set up Edgar Berlanga a lot, because Edgar's going to have to figure a way to clear that void. He wants this to be a mid-range, close-range fight, and Hamza's going to have a lot of opportunities to walk him into things. And I think Andy Lee is just such an intelligent person that he's going to set that up. He knows. I can tell on some of the interviews he did when he spoke about the emotions. He's like, he's an emotional fighter. He knows Edgar Berlanga. Andy Lee's very familiar with Edgar Berlanga, and I think he's had one or two fighters already who's fought Edgar Berlanga that he was training or he was in the corner of. So he has an understanding of Edgar Berlanga. If Hamza Shiraz buys in, he's going to be a sharp fighter that night, goofy or not goofy. However anybody saw Ross Scott said he looked goofy. Let me tell you about these goofy fighters, bro. They be focused, no pride, no ego.
Yep.
No pride, no ego. You know what I mean? They're going to execute the game plan.
Yep.
Thank you.
Even greater.
No way in this on this green earth Edgar quits. I'm telling you, impossible. No way.
Okay. All right. Listen, I love it, Blue.
It's just
last time y'all went against me, y'all said, man, I got what Blue said. I gotta give Ray his just due.
For what fight? We talking about Boots on the Rolly?
When they called the Rolly fight, yeah. So
that was good, but
listen, man.
Nah,
let me tell you something, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm gonna explain it again very quickly. Edgar's frustration is going to lead him into getting beat the hell up, and it's going to shame him. And the reason why, hold on, this is where it comes. This is where it comes in at. Because he lived off that high for the Canelo fight, his head is somewhere in the clouds. So when that letdown happens, it's almost like a cokehead. He high right now, and when he come crashing back down to earth, man, and reality kicks in, it's going to be hard for him to settle and deal with it, man. And he at home, so a lot of things going on, man. It's going to be overwhelming, and I think he's not going to know how to deal with it. And I think it's just going to look bad. I think it's going to get stopped. He might quit.
HLD says, what can Shiraz do that Berlanga has not already seen and faced by Canelo? I'm telling you right now, Edgar Berlanga's fight is going to be completely different from the Canelo fight. I'm telling you that I know. And I'm telling you, fighting a Canelo Alvarez who you can get to and you understand that Canelo Alvarez is the fighter that he is in the face of boxing. you take those licks with a lot more pride. Hamza Shiraz is young. He's damn near a prospect. Damn near, right? He's not a prospect, but he's damn near, right? Edgar Berlanga been boxing since he was 6. Getting your ass whooped by somebody who ain't supposed to be whooping your ass, that shit hit different.
Right. That's what I said. Yeah, there's a letdown. That's the letdown. That's where the tires meet the road right there, bro. It's gonna hurt him. But here's a fun scenario. Here's a fun way.
I ain't jacking quitting.
Here's a fun twist to it, right? You want now, Berlanga, if he does somehow manage to win, he's going to have to fight the way Canelo fought him. My words. He's got to switch his style up to what Canelo did to him, and make attack the arms, attack the body, keep the pressure going. He knows he's going to get hit, whatever. Just like Canelo knew he was going to get hit, but he needs to punch him off balance. He needs to keep Shiraz off balance. If he keeps him off balance, I give all the credit in the world to Berlanga, but I don't think Berlanga's game mentally to do such a thing. I think his motto is, "I'm here to impress my people, bro." You know what I mean? Puerto Rico, stand up. No disrespect to Puerto Rico, but his mind is in the clouds.
I can see Edgar also setting up that overhand right like a mug. I could definitely see him sticking straight shots out to the solar plexus or to the abdomen, to the body of Shiraz early. Just sticking him to the body, and all of a sudden start following up that shot to the chest of the body with overhand rights. And I can see Hamza hanging out too long in the mid-range space, trying to prove something and get with the right hand. He could not. If he doesn't fight intelligently, he can get hit with that overhand, right? And I can see him get knocked out early. To be honest with you, if he plays that game, I can see him going out like Tevin Farmer a little bit. I can see Edgar doing him the way Tevin Farmer got done by Floyd Schofield.
Yep, it can happen. Anything's possible.
It's going to be about weathering those first 2 to 3 rounds by Hamza. Hamza has to put those first 2 rounds into like, I'm processing data, I'm staying away from that right hand, because Edgar gonna come out the gate. He gonna come out the gate. Where is it? No, I don't see Berlanga getting outboxed. What I do like is that Berlanga last fight he chose to fight a mailman. Well, what you don't like, yeah.
That was a mailman. That was a damn flapjack with eyes, nigga. That was, I don't know what that was. You seen the purple guy from McDonald's, Grimace?
Yeah,
that's who that was. Yeah, no doubt.
I'm gonna put a link out there. Come up. We going on 2 hours. I'm tired of
that. Yeah, JR asked a question too. Yeah, I know you wasn't trying to stay on, man. So what else you got? I heard you talking a lot about a lot of different things. So I'm trying to hear you. I'm gonna keep my break on. That's what it is. They'll be all right. I know you talked about Shakur.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff to talk about, bro. We talked about Shakur in Williams
Zepeda, right?
What do you think?
Fight?
Okay, you want to talk about that?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm gonna hear you ask.
I was gonna take this opportunity to talk about the. I mean, I won't beat around the bush, right? The Fanatics.
I knew that was coming.
It's crazy, yo. Salute, Blaze. How you doing, family? I'm not even saying.
Listen, Blaze. Listen, shout out to Blaze, man, because Blaze was a witness to what took place, man. Unfortunately, and name dropping and things of that nature, man. But we're gonna move away from that a little bit, Clay, because we know what it is. It is the Fanatics. It is because we love one fighter and we love one promotional company, and American boxing. Black American boxer is the best boxer of all time. And come on, bro, let's keep it real. Nobody's saying that. It's boxing. We gotta listen. There's nothing wrong with supporting your heritage. There's nothing wrong with supporting your culture. There's nothing wrong with supporting your backgrounds. Anything of that nature. There's nothing wrong with that. But not everybody has to support the same person that comes from the same situation. And what I mean by that is, most of these fighters come from that same background. And if you choose to stay on with person B over person A, boxer A, there should be no hatred from the fans of person A telling you on the wrong block. It's like gangbanging, bro. And I hate to use that word. I really hate to use that word because it's really like a bad culture shock to adults, full grown adults, acting like they need to get the support of a million people that follow one person and get them people to say everybody else that talks about boxing or talks about the sport and not talks about this guy and why they support Turkey Al Sheikh or foreign to the country, this and that. Man, kiss bricks, kiss you know what else, and start scraping my shoes, bro. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, my family goes back in this country, bro, way back. So we can stop right there with that. I believe boxing is global. It's always been global. No one said anything about Muhammad Ali fighting over in other countries, right? But now all of a sudden it's a problem because our favorite fighter's not fighting over there, or we can't have our favorite fighter fight there. He belongs here. Money is where it is, man. When he fought in England, nobody said nothing when Tank fought in England. There was no problem then. When he fought on the undercard of was that Earl Spence, I think, or Kell Brook.
Hold on a second.
I think it was.
Wait, please talk about Shakur being the only fighter who agreed to the 20 by 18 foot ring, other than Berlanga, Matias, and obviously Zepeda. I mean, look,
yeah, that's true.
Shakur is he's dialed in, bro. He's on a mission. You could see it in his eyes. You can see it on his face. And listen, bro, I saw him doing an interview with Ari Hawani, bro.
You heard Hawani, yeah, I just watched it.
He's very focused, bro. He's very excited. It's like knowing you ready. You could tell he's like, I'm ready, and he's excited. He thinks he's about to put on a clinic, without a doubt. Yo, salute to Blaze, pound for pound, HLD in the building. Who is this? Never Full Sports. Is that Rob Scott?
Nah, it was good, bro. It's my first time pulling up.
Okay, what's good? What's good, family? I know Rob Scott sometimes comes up and puts random names under his so sometimes you gotta ask if it's him or not. But Blaze, what's good with you, family?
Man, just chilling, man. Saturday can't come soon enough. You know, we're trying to look and see Shakur perform. And he looks focused, he looks healthy, he looks laser, you know, his demeanor, you know, my thing, man, the whole excuses,
Blaze, your sound is messed up, bro.
You feel me? And they go from, oh, can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me?
Well, I can hear you. You
talking. Does my sound better?
You sound a little bit better.
All right.
You sound real bad.
But I was saying, but I was saying that, you know, skills, man. Shakur has a high level of skill. And, you know, I'm not surprised if, you know, he works Zepeda like he worked Padley. And, you know, the excuse where they watch it and don't decide to watch the tape is because I was an electrician, 5 days notice or whatever. But it's like, go back and watch his fights, you know? One thing about Zepeda is a high volume puncher. And with a high volume puncher against a skilled fighter like Shakur, that's kind of like on a level by itself, is that he's going to get a lot countered. And he can get countered hard in the first round if he throws 120 punches or tries to. He's gonna pay. But the thing is that the fans is legitimate with what Shakur did with De Los Santos. They trying to tag him as a runner. But if he don't run, if he's healthy, you know, if he's healthy, right? This is what it's gonna look like. If he ain't got no shoulder injuries, and, you know, they talking about his hands and talking about he was grimacing when he took his gloves off or whatever. All right, if his hands can hold up though, he'll get the punching on this boy. And then I just want to end it like this, though. Here's my thing. Shakur has the opportunity on Saturday to watch Zepeda and be real, and there be a real argument about him being the best at 135. Because the reality is that Tank drew against Lamont. So it is what it is. So if Shakur wins, and then we're talking about who's the best at 135, and then we're still, if you've got Tank fans that want to see that, you know, I'm a Tank fan. I want to see him fight the rematch with Roach. I can't wait for them to figure out a date. But, you know, Shakur has prime opportunity right now, regardless of the shenanigans out the ring, regardless of that bullshit Turkey's pulling on social media, regardless of all that nonsense. He go in there and handle his business, then it's like, hey, who's better than him at 135? For real. And then it's like, will y'all make the fight? That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Salute,
No, I
salute.
like that. That's what's up. So just to say something real quick to what he said was just a great statement. Is we have to understand too with Shakur, right? And even Devin, we name these guys runners. I think I heard somebody say this too, and I was actually thinking the same thing when I heard it. I think it was Blue actually. It said something about off of 2 fights, you named Shakur a runner, right? That is his whole career. Devin, 1 fight, his whole career, you name him a runner. And it's funny that they like people were so crazy to throw these things out. And let me just ask a question to the panelists. Like, um, HLD likes Teal. Do I call Teal a person that can't come forward or whatever the case it is? No, no answer. I'm just being hypothetical. Um, because he couldn't cut off the ring against Jermaine Ortiz. No, I'm not going to do that because I've seen him in other fights and I've seen him do other things. Same thing with Tank. Do I say Tank gets up and takes knees and cries about water in his eye or oil in his eye because of 1 fight? No. Yeah, they tease him about it, but the people are teasing him about it because the fan base of Gervonta Davis are always teasing other fighters, which is okay. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I don't think people go to war for these fighters like other people do, but I think that's where the questions come in is why do they name the these two boxers runners out of off of 1 fight or 2 fights? It's just ridiculous and it's sad. And that's I think we're going to see something from Shakur. And Shakur's got a lot to prove, and he wants to prove it. I think his hands are fully healed. I do think Zepeda's still a threat. A lot of people don't think he's a threat. I think he's a very good threat.
Oh, who thinks he's not?
But no. Some people are saying that they think Shakur's just going to drop him and Shakur's going to, you know what I mean? No, I think Zepeda has a lot of, I think his punch output is amazing. And, you know what I mean? Shakur has something to deal with. But at the same time, I just think Shakur's a better fighter, a better thinker, a better puncher than Zepeda. So I think at the end of the day, we're going to see Shakur rise to that victory and as opposed to Zepeda. But anything can happen in that ring, and I don't think people put that past him. I heard somebody say Zepeda's not even worth the fight with Shakur. Like, that's not going to do nothing for him. I was like, yo, they be bugging. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Salute to Neverfold Sports. What's good with you, family? What's on your mind?
So yeah, like you just said, bro, with the running thing, notice they only call black fighters runners. Like we seen Canelo in that fight versus School. Like every time you had him in the corner, he was scared of getting countered. Like how you a big puncher, you supposed to be this knockout artist. You get somebody in the corner, you're not letting your hands go. He every time he had School in the corner, he'd let him walk. Feel me? So it's like they only say that just to say it. But at the end of the day, how you as a power puncher, a knockout artist, allow a person that has no chin run all day to win a fight. So if they saying this, oh, yo, make this ring smaller, like what about the knockout artists that's not getting no knockouts, no stoppages? Shouldn't they get penalized for not getting no knockouts?
Well, I mean, I think the penalized thing is just overrated. I don't think nobody can be penalized. I think it just comes down to preference, and it comes down to Turkey having the influence of being able to give these guys fights in the future. So, you know, his words hold a little bit more weight just with the strength of, I can't stop you from doing what you're going to do in the ring. That's up to the referee if he chooses to or not. But I can let you know that as far as me putting you in fights in the future, if you don't, you know, you don't entertain, there's no incentive for us to be involved in the business of putting you in fights. So I mean, that's something for the fighters to weigh out. But I don't think I don't think running is I think running is running with Turkey. I think boxing, moving around is not an issue. Using the ring, moving around, scoring points, not getting hitting is okay. But if you're running away from engagement, like you're not even getting a counter punch going on, you're not letting your hands go, you're not scoring, and this becomes a different topic of conversation. HLD, what's good with you, family?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Ray? I don't know, man. I mean, we're jumping on. We're jumping on who's a runner and who's a boxer, and what about what is entertainment? Because I think that's the problem with Shakur with the overall sense out there. Is not only did they see him literally run versus De La Salle, you cannot say he was not running. He was running. But he had an injured hand. Granted, we know that. But in that other fights that he had, I think it was what Ardelman was, yo, people were walking out. And so we're talking about entertainment. He's boring. And people want to see an entertaining fight. It's as simple as that. People want to be entertained. I want to be at the seat, at the edge of my seat, like, damn, oh shit, what's gonna happen? Oh, I don't want to sip on no damn wine that I'll chill. I want to be excited by what I'm watching. And so I think that's where it comes down to. It's about the entertainment. And so that's what we're expecting out of Shakur. I don't know what aura we're talking about, all this stuff. I think this is a show me fight for both fighters. Who are you? And that's what we're gonna find out on Saturday. Who are you? I know what Zepeda is. He's capable of throwing over 1,500 punches in a fight. He's a workhorse. We know that. And then we know the technicalities and precision that Shakur is. Now, we're gonna find out. Can one guy sustain the other? Can Shakur maintain being running on his back foot all night, or is he gonna be in the pocket and make that guy miss and make him pay and pay and pay again and get him out of there? Simple as that. Get him out of there, or make him wish that they do throw the towel. It's one of those type of situations that I expect to see from Shakur, because he is supposed to be that damn great. The only thing he's kind of not lived up to that in the last few fights. And granted, I know he's been injured, and that worries me a lot for this young man with those brittle hands. It just is what it is. He's only 27 years old. Money made. I mean, Pretty Boy didn't run into the position until about 31.
Mm-hmm.
He already went through that phase, and he was smoking and cracking and knocking everybody out. It wasn't until later on in about mid-30s when those hands were starting to become an issue. And so, hopefully, he's fully healed, and we'll see the best of him on Saturday. I can't really pick who's gonna win. Whoever is gonna show up the best, I really can't, because I know what Zepeda's capable of, and I know, but there's those hand issues. They got me worried. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to watch that one come together, because I'm optimistic. I want to see something great, but I know those hands are gonna make the difference. If those hands ain't there, it's gonna be heartbreaking to see him go through that, man.
So you guys really telling me that y'all would put y'all money on William Zepeda to win that fight?
But
I think everybody pretty much going to win this fight. Well, the question is, how is he going to win?
How? And Clay, you make a good point.
Go ahead.
All right. What I was going to say is, like, his hands, man. Has he hurt his hands?
You're breaking up, Chief.
Even when he stopped Hadley, he hurt his hand.
He hurt his hand in the second round.
He did hurt his hands. I mean, in my opinion, I think he just came back too fast.
He hurt his hands, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he came back too fast.
So that's a real thing.
Oh yeah. But I think the hands might be together right now. I have a feeling that the hands are together right now. I believe they're together right now. That's what I'm believing. But I mean, we don't know.
That's what his demeanor seemed.
Yeah. But he sold us that when he fought against Edwin. He sold us the same story. Before the fight went, he sold us the same story with Edwin.
That De Los Santos.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, that's why I can't pick. I don't want my man was here. You're gonna put your money. No, man. I'm literally saying I don't know who to pick. I'm not going to. I'm just gonna watch the fight, and you're gonna show me. Show me for the next one. That's what I'm here with that fight.
Can y'all hear me better now?
Yeah, go ahead.
And so, like, that's why it's like, that De Los Santos fight was so bad. See, the De Los Santos fight for Shakur was the fire, and then all his tweets and shit is the gasoline. You feel me? And it was like, them was CompuBox lows right there. And you see, it hurts for Shakur because of it's so polarizing with him being so highly skilled and having so much of a great tape to do that. That's why it's that bad. Because it's actually actual branding. You're branding you a runner because you actually ran in a championship bout like that. CompuBox lows for championship bouts in this day and age. And so it'd be like, I'm a fan of Shakur, but it's like I see when people talking about spend like investing all the time. Like, for instance, I'm going to Vegas to see Canelo versus Bud, right? So just imagine me I'm getting my hotel now. You feel me? I'm sitting on the 18th, waiting for the tickets to drop. I might be in the nosebleed. So be it. I'm gonna be there though, right?
Mm,
And then they pull some trash like that. Then it'd be like, hey, no matter what they did after that, I'd be feeling some type of way. I'm about to blow a few racks with me and my wife going over to this joint. And if
right,
they pull
right.
off like the Canelo skull, bro, I'm gonna be hot. I'm gonna be hot. So that's the thing where how bad that that fight was. And it's not necessarily wasn't for me, but it's like you gotta he did Artem, he fought Artem, and then was supposed to fight Kid, then he fought Padley. Now he's fighting Zepeda, like he's trying to get over the hill. But ultimately, the only thing that's gonna have him over the hill with the running is if he handles his business in a unification bout. That's it. Like Zepeda, they're gonna make excuses for him. He's not a titleist. He's top 5 ranked or whatever. They gonna already got excuses for him losing. He got to unify at 135. Then you can't say nothing.
So wait,
You
let
know.
me
Then
ask
it's
this
like, what's up
question.
with undisputed?
Let me ask this question, right? How come in combat sport, people always looking for an easy way out, talking about some stop running and stuff. In basketball, we don't hear people say LeBron stop going to the paint, shoot more. Curry stop shooting, go to the paint. And boxing, stop running. Shouldn't they know how to cut off the ring? Like, how you allow a fighter to beat you with no chin, running all day with no power? How you allow that a
This
person
is
like that to beat
combat
you?
sports,
But
bro.
but that's the thing. That's not Shakur though. Shakur got a relevant power. Shakur don't got it. We don't know about his chin. He never hit the ground. So it'd be
So
like
that's
that's the
what I'm
thing where it'd
saying.
be
So
like,
why is people talking about running? Walk him down. He
The
don't have
reason
no
they're
power.
talking
So
about it is because of the entertainment value of the fight. So, in other words, if somebody can move around the ring, right, and make it to where the fight is boring, even though it's the onus, it also falls on the end of the other fighter to cut the ring off. It doesn't change the fact that the fight was boring, and it gets
yeah,
to a point
it-
where fans start to say, "Well, this fight could have been more entertaining on the back of the shoulders of the person who's moving around, right? Like clearly, the person who couldn't cut the ring off, we see why he couldn't do it because he just didn't have the ability to it. But at the end of the day, the money spent, the entertainment value of the fight, that's all it comes down to. It's just the fact that people pay money to see a fight. They want to see it being entertaining. If they feel like you're not, properly weighing out the risk reward ratio in a way to where you're taking our entertainment into consideration, then then they have an indifferent disposition to the way you're deciding to do something that's clearly easy for you to do and you're getting the victory. But as far as the paying customer is concerned, I'm not feeling like the product is a good product. And also promoters who are looking to pull money out of that may not be so excited to put you in fights in the future. Shout out to Coach Eddie in the building. What's good, Coach?
A second. What's good, brothers?
Doing good, Coach. How you feeling, man?
Oh man, I'm ready for this weekend, man. Big time,
What up,
man.
coach?
What's going
peace,
on, brother?
coach.
I've been doing my homework. I've been looking and trying to find little nuggets and stuff like that, man. I'm telling you, man, Shiraz, man, he look good, man. I've been finding some footage of him and Andy Lee working together, man. That dude looking sharp, man. I think he's gonna outclass Berlinga, man. Berlinga's
I
too
got
goddamn.
too.
He's too predictable, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, too predictable, man. And I've been watching him and Andy Lee working together. They looking like they gelling real good. Shiraz is looking explosive. He's looking fast. He got a good game plan, man. I just don't see it, man. I just think Berlinga's gonna get outclassed and gonna get hurt in this fight, man. Because the dude's punching hard, man. For what I've been watching, man, just watching training videos, and I finally seen a little bit of I guess Shiraz really got aggravated, today at the face off. You know what I'm saying? He's pointing his finger at the dude, telling what he's gonna do, this, that, and third. So I think he really just is putting batteries in the dude's back, man. I think Edgar, he never really impressed me, man. Like I heard you say earlier, that he got dropped, for a reason. Top rank guy, you don't get rid of a guy with 16 first round knockouts unless he think he's no good, man. So they got rid of him for a reason. I mean, the guy's knocking people out. That's what people want to see anyway. The dude showed us who he is, man. He talk all this crap. Edgar talks a good one, man. Talks a good one, but even with Canelo, he talked like he was the big bad wolf. But you seen what he did, man. The man, 200 something pounds, just backing up all night long. They never even really went after Canelo. I mean, so to me, this dude is like huffing and puffing and blowing like the big bad wolf. Just full of hot air, man. I think Shiraz is gonna put something on him, man.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, man, I see what you're seeing too, man. I see what you're seeing. I just don't know what Edgar's going to show up. Edgar's going to have to show some wrinkles to his game. He's not just going to be. It's not going to be just laid out for him. He's going to be cerebral, at least for the first couple of rounds. He's going to take his time and break this down. Hamza's going to be prepared. Hamza's going to be sharp, and Andy Lee's going to keep him on the. If he buys into Andy Lee's game plan, I think it's going to be a difficult fight for Damn, the Yankees are spanking these dudes. But it is what it is. Yo, salute, Blue. What's good with you, family?
I got Berlin.
Blue busy. He doing something.
I think he off cam.
Nah, he right there. Blue, you there? No.
What's shaking?
Dog, chilling, man. Just breaking down some of this boxing now. The panel's up here. There's something I want to talk about, but I don't want to talk about it at the same time because I don't want people to get in conversations they don't want to be involved in. But it is what it is. But let's stay on this Hamza Shiraz Edgar Berlanga topic a little longer. So where are you at with it? First of all, are you big New York right now? Are you breaking it down? Are you analyzing this for what it is?
It's a great fight, right? It's and the reason I look at it as a great fight is because opportunity for both guys, right? It's one of those like crossroad fights, you know what I'm saying, where Hamza Shiraz, we all pretty much thought that he lost to Carlos Adames, you know what I'm saying? And so now he got to prove to us because again, like Tank said, right? You know, with the weight, you know, having it built in excuses all. I wasn't, the weight was bothering me. You know what I'm saying? I moved up in weight. You know, he got a lot to prove. And then same goes for Edgar Berlanga, right? Edgar Berlanga got a lot to prove, right? He's claiming superstardom, and he don't got no superstar wins. You know what I mean? Canelo Alvarez, the A side, and Canelo Alvarez, you fight Canelo Alvarez been a pay-per-view superstar since he was 23 years old. You know what I'm saying? So you fight Canelo Alvarez, yeah, you're going to be on the big stage. It's all about Canelo giving you the opportunity. And the thing is, Edgar got to show us that Canelo, did he give you an opportunity you didn't deserve? You know what I'm saying? Because we all feel like Canelo Alvarez picks guys that we like, bro, why are you fighting him? You know what I'm saying? He ain't deserve a fight, so it's not like you earned it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get a fight with Canelo Alvarez, and you ain't earned the fight. In the case of Terrence Crawford, his legacy, his resume says he earns it. And we could also look at another thing when you're looking at Canelo Alvarez, right? When his fighters that earned it, he's reluctant to take those fights, right? Triple G had to be forced into the fight. He had to be stripped of the belt with Triple G, right? David Benavidez, he refused to fight him. He had to be embarrassed and shamed into fighting Erislandy Lara. And the reason he fought Austin Trout was because Floyd Mayweather said, if you want to fight with me, you're going to have to fight Austin Trout. So he took the fight, right? So outside of Floyd Mayweather, which everybody will take that opportunity to fight Floyd Mayweather because Floyd Mayweather he's a legacy fight, right? And we always look at the fights Floyd Mayweather have. You lose to Floyd Mayweather, it's like you ain't even lose. You know what I'm saying? We look at dudes' resumes, they lose to Floyd like Canelo did. It's like they don't even lose. You know what I'm saying? They just move on with their career. You know what I mean? So what fighter did he fight voluntarily that we could say, hey, this dude, you know what I'm saying, is that dude? You know what I mean? He thought the only guy that we could say at the highest level was Dimitri Bivol, and that's because he thought he was a cherry pick. You know what I'm saying? He looked at Bivol like, oh, you're the smaller of these dudes. I know what it is to fight at that weight because I fought Sergey Kovalev up there. You know what I'm saying? And a questionable win. You know what I mean? So I know what it is to fight at this weight. You know what I mean? So he picked Bivol thinking that he had an up. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he picked him because it was a dangerous fight. We know it was a dangerous fight, but we was like, man, Bivol's not a big puncher. You know what I'm saying? He's not a knockout artist. He's a technical boxer. Canelo felt like he was going to, you know what I'm saying, break him down, pressure him, and force him into mistakes. He fought bigger guys like Caitlin Smith, who was boxers, Sergey Kovalev, so on and so forth. Caleb Plant, movers. He thought he had one. You know what I'm saying? and turned out it wasn't that. And what did we see from there moving forward? Bivol wins the fight. You know, I don't know what you guys had to fight, but I had it 10 rounds to 2. At worst, 9 rounds to 3 in favor of
Definitely
Bivol.
domination. Yeah, definitely dominated.
What?
It was a dominant performance by Bivol, right?
Yep.
He dominates the fight, right? And Bivol is chasing Canelo for the rematch like he lost.
Mm-hmm.
And Canelo refused to give him the rematch. He refused to fight him, right? So, again, saying all of this to say, I was saying that to say, we know he picks guys that are questionable fighters. So, Edgar Berlanga got a lot to prove. You know what I'm saying? Right now, Canelo Alvarez talking about he want to fight Hamza Shiraz. Now, we know that has a lot to do with Turkey, right? That Turkey wants to make that fight. And Canelo's willing to make the fight, but he's open to making the fight. You know what I'm saying? Hamza Shiraz, you tell the world what has David Morrell done, what has Benavidez done, right? But you fight Edgar Berlanga and Hamza Shiraz. You know what I'm saying? So Edgar Berlanga getting the fight, and that's my dude. Everybody knows that's my dude. Shouts out to Edgar Berlanga. You know, but I just got to tell the truth, right? It wouldn't be me if I didn't tell the truth. So you got to prove to the world that you belong on that stage. You got that opportunity with Canelo, and the truth is you ain't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? You got the opportunity over David Benavidez, and David Benavidez is by far, you ain't never even, that was your first title opportunity. Benavidez is now a 2-division champion. You know what I'm saying? So you could say, well, you was in a mega fight, but was you in the mega fight deservingly? That's the question. And Hamza Shiraz, you arguably lost. Well, we all thought you lost to Thomas, to Adonis in your last fight.
Wash your hands, cool.
He definitely lost that fight.
No, hold on, I got it. He's just talking. He forgot to put himself on mute. Go ahead.
So we all felt like you lost, you know, to Adonis. You know what I'm saying? So he got something to prove. So that's why I'm on board with people that say that this is the biggest fight of the night. And the reason I'm on board is because I feel like they both understand that we got something to prove tonight. You know what I'm saying? And like you were saying earlier, Clay, Edgar back at home. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have Fat Joe and all these dudes sitting there ringside. You know what I'm saying? Terror Squad. You done got the Canelo fight. You know what I'm saying? You the main event over Shakur Stevenson. You got to show up and show out. You know what I'm saying? Now, I see what Ray was saying when Ray said that he got the ability to quit. We seen him get frustrated and arguably quit, right? When he bit old boy, he was looking for a way out, right?
Right.
So we know he has that ability. But yeah, if he do that now, though, in front of this crowd, with like Clay said, with a guy who ain't even supposed to be in the ring, he's still coming up. You know what I'm saying? This dude ain't even supposed to be in the ring with you. If you struggle with him, bro, you got it. It's problems for your career, bro.
And 168, it feels like 168 has like one spot open right now. You know what I'm saying? Like you got Jamal there, you got Diego Pacheco getting ready to have his fight next week against Trevor McCumbee. You got Christian and Billy, who just shook it up about 2 weeks ago. Caleb Plant just had a loss, but still, I think Caleb's still in the conversation. You got a new up-and-coming Armando Resendez who just stepped up in the space. It seems like there's spot for one more person, and Edgar's supposed to be in that conversation. But if Edgar loses, Hamza will legitimately take that spot. Hamza will legitimately take that spot and potentially be Canelo Alvarez's next fight. Edgar Berlanga has an opportunity at redemption with Canelo, and he bet on himself and left Eddie Hearn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of pressure on the back of Edgar Berlanga. He really can't lose this fight. He really can't afford to lose this fight because Hamza Shiraz will legitimately take his spot and be that guy at 168, just like that.
And here's the thing, right, Clay? He ain't got no backing. Like you said, he ain't got no promoter, nobody backing you, nothing. He legit betting on himself. You lose this fight, you gonna become the only reason that because he talks a good game, he looks the part, right? So guess what? People, promoters are still investing in him as
an opponent like essentially what Turkey doing for Hamza Shiraz. But outside of that, nobody gonna look at you that way. It's gonna be hard for him to rebuild his brand and his career. You know, he's gonna have to get an upset at some point down the road to get title shots and all that. It's gonna be over for him. He got to show up and show out, man.
And if you put Edgar Berlanga in a high risk, low reward type of situation, who's really trying to jump in the ring with him? Who in the top 10 really trying to jump in the ring with him and jeopardize their position? You know,
I think Inglacia, the Cuban, the Inglacia, the Cuban fighter.
Oglacie. I know you're talking about. Yeah, that's who he has, but that's a hard fight for him too. I know you're talking about. Hold on, I'll tell you his name right now. I know you're talking about. He nice. He nice.
I got Edgar winning.
Who is Edgar signed to?
Nobody.
So how did he get the fight?
Turkey.
Oh, okay.
Basically, what this is, I think Turkey's looking at Edgar like a cherry pick, and this is going to be like a comparison. Look, if Shiraz goes out there and knocks out Edgar, then that'll make a legitimate. Hey, look what Shiraz did to Edgar, and Canelo couldn't even get him out of there. Let's make.
I
Canelo
feel like
fight.
it's a cherry pick going wrong. I think what it is, it's like you look at the promotions, it's like, man, I'm just rooting for Edgar because he got to do what he's supposed to do for me to even have a legitimate position or argument that he's going to win on Saturday. But, my whole main thing is that he packs a punch and he can fight fundamentally sound. He can come behind his jab. And so he can catch Shiraz in an exchange. All he need to do is bang him one time, So that'd be the thing. I think he got that type of punching power. So it's like if Shiraz outclasses him, he got to outclass him with some boxing. But if he engages with Berlanga, my thing with Berlanga is what I hope is that after he fought Canelo, he increased his conditioning because he gassed out. He gassed out and allowed himself to, Canelo to apply more pressure on him in the later rounds. But I think, man, he can catch Shiraz in an exchange and he'll be gone, And so, they make you. He had all them straight knockouts, and it's like, all right, it's cans. It was cans that he was fighting, right? And I get that, but it'd be like, I think somebody's skill catching those punches like that go down too. So that's just me. It's a reach. I know everybody's going for Shiraz. Like I said, I'm going for easy. I think he's going to be focused. I think he's going to win.
I think Edgar still got about 10 pounds to lose, man.
Who?
I think Edgar still has about 10 pounds to get off.
What Ray was saying. Ray was saying that earlier. Just saying that the weight cut might not be. There's a lot of intangibles in this fight, man. There's a lot of intangibles, man. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Hamza gonna listen to Andy, and that's
he better listen. He better listen because we never seen him what you guys are hoping him to show. We never seen him like that. Adames is 5'10". Adames is only 5'10" and was whooping that boy.
Adames is a better fighter. He's a better fighter than Egler. Much better fighter than Egler, man.
Berlanga's 6'1". So how much? Oh, he's short and all this stuff. Yo, Berlanga, you guys got Berlanga messed up that he probably has not learned anything out of that Canelo fight. That's what kind of trips me out. I know all the old age. I've never been a fan of this young man. Never. And probably still ain't. But one thing I do know, he grows some balls on that Canelo fight. He showed up to be who he said he was gonna do. And he did the best that he damn could. He didn't embarrass me as my people.
That dude fought scared, man. He was scared, man.
He wasn't Charlo. He wasn't Charlo, my man.
Man, that dude's a 200-pound fighter, man. The Charlo came up in 54. Edgar Berlanga's a 200-pound guy, man.
Again, once he got
Berlanga fought with Canelo.
He didn't go around.
I didn't see it, bro.
Charlo, man. So let's stop that nonsense. He stood toe to toe at times with him, and he took some of his best shots. That was only one drop, and that was it.
Did he win one round?
He didn't win any round. He didn't win any round.
To go watch that Berlanga
convincingly.
For Drog.
Do nothing to even win one round, bro.
Hey, the McCory fight.
Nobody hyping him up. I'm just calling it the way it is. He did better.
Nah, man, the dude was timid, man. What? No, McGinn fought a much better fight than friggin' Berlanga did. What are you talking about, man? At least Berlanga, at least, but McGinn was trying to freaking win. Edgar wasn't trying to do anything.
Canelo was holding up by his neck, not to let him get knocked out. What are we talking about?
You capping,
Crazy
bro.
word.
This man is 200-pound cruiserweight, backing up all night long, man. What are you talking about, man?
Yep.
That's ridiculous, bro.
He held Munguia by his neck. not to let him fall. What are we talking about?
The issue you have is what you're looking at is regardless of Berlanga staying into that fight or not. Berlanga came into that fight with one mission to survive, and you can see it, and and his reaction says it all.
That's a fact.
Where Magia came into that fight to be a warrior and try to beat Canelo. Berlanga he thought he had a shot. He believed it until the lights hit him. He got overwhelmed, and his job was just to survive that fight.
Especially once he got out of the pockets. Once he got out in his pockets, he knew.
I didn't see it like that. I didn't see the fight like that. I think Magia was just more aggressive before he got dropped. He was trying to box with Canelo. Like he was really trying to compete. Like I don't know. I remember even in the later rounds where Canelo thought the bell rung and he punched him hard in the back of his head and he was trying to fight it to end. So it was like, I hear y'all, but I didn't see nobody that was running. He didn't get on a bicycle. He was trying to fight off the back foot. He was respecting that power, but it wasn't like he didn't show up to fight. He fought during that.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Rounds.
Yep. I think Magia fought all 12 rounds. Even after getting dropped, he got up and still tried to fight. Berlanga, he just became a spectacle in the ring. Not after he got dropped.
Berlanga was in survival mode, brother.
Yeah, he went into the same situation as our boy Charlo, bro.
Not even.
He said he became a spectator not to get hit.
That's not true, right? Because look, the difference between Charlo and Berlanga is that Charlo got dropped running. Berlanga got caught with a counter. He was engaging. When
Canelo I said he was fighting.
No, he wasn't.
Charlo
he started off. The lights got to him. He started off fighting. Somebody got an echo.
He caught and dropped him. He caught Berlanga's punch and dropped him.
He caught him when he was throwing a right.
Man, that dude was laying on the rope. He was cowering on the ropes when he got caught. That's when he got flipped.
He was
cowering on the rope with his hands up.
He was not cowering, bro.
Once reality,
that's
listen,
crazy. That's hyperbole.
Blaze. Once reality set in on Berlanga, I say around the second and third round, his whole boxing changed. Like his whole it went to survival. Yes, he thought he could punch with Canelo, but when he realized he couldn't punch with him, it was all a different fight, man. It was, I don't know. Blue got me laughing, bro.
I don't think that Berlanga was running. I don't believe that, but I do believe that he was surviving.
He went to survival mode. He went to survival
mode. Knocked out. And I think the way everybody's describing the survival mode, it makes it like I don't agree at all to compare it against like what Jamal did. No way. Bro. What Jamel did. No way. What
Jamel had two different survival tactics.
Jamel was moving around that whole ring, literally at points in the fight, looking like he was like Canelo was chasing him down. Berlanga would stay there, but Berlanga's concern, you can tell as he was fighting, his concern was not getting knocked out. It became that. You could see where the concern came, where he was like, it wasn't his thing wasn't I'm gonna knock Canelo out or I can stop Canelo or I'm going for some. His thing was like I'm staying out of danger from Canelo. You could see the energy change once he got put on his pockets from, I can win this fight to, I'm not getting knocked out, bro. I'm not getting knocked out.
He was waiting to counter him, and that's what happened. He was ready. He said, you know what? I am not going to throw first because this guy's going to counter my dumb ass. So I'm going to wait till he throws.
But he was trying to avoid that before that, Clay. He was boxing like that before he got dropped. He was trying to box cautious, and he still got caught. What I'm saying is there's a difference between fighting cautious and then like running and being scared.
I don't think he was running. That's why I said
he was trying to think. He was in the ring trying to think. That's why he got dropped because he wasn't.
He was not trying to win that fight.
Okay,
no point in time was he trying to win that fight.
Can we all agree that they both were in survival mode? They both were there to last the match, to finish the fight. Regardless of what.
I only know one man that said, "I'm glad I didn't get knocked the F out." That was only one man.
But it was also a guy by the name of Edgar Berlanga who said during the press conference to Caleb Plant that at least I'm not going to get knocked out like your bum behind did. He said that before the fight, which let you know where his mindset was at.
He was cautious. That's the whole point. He respected. One thing about it, what I can agree with y'all is that Berlanga came in there with a high respect for Canelo's power and was fighting cautious. He was fighting like that the entire fight. Even when he got caught trying not to get caught. He was trying to figure it out, but he was outclassed. And that
You
goes
know
where,
what though?
it's like when we're talking about who
And when he
Berlanga
got
is.
up,
Let's not
and when he
recall
got up, he
before
came
he
to
fight
fight. He
before
wasn't running.
Berlanga fights. Before
I
Berlanga
think also
fights
the difference.
Canelo, who has he fought? He hasn't fought nobody. There's levels. Like this is a clear skill gap between Berlanga and Canelo. That's why it's like we interested to see him fight Sharice, because it's like we don't know. He made a quantum leap to fight Canelo. You see what I'm saying? And now he's here. So now it's the moment of truth now for him on Saturday.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. What do y'all think? Well, on yo, Blaze. Okay, he muted himself. Good. What do you guys think about Shakur's hands? Do you think his hands is on point? Blue?
I'm glad you asked that, because I wanted to say this, right? Everybody talking about, and Ray, it wasn't me that said that. You know, I gave a breakdown of Floyd has 50 fights. Devin has 32 fights. Shakur has 23 fights, right? They all undefeated. That's they have over 100 fights, right? And people point to 3 fights out of 100 and say that Floyd was boring, Shakur is boring, and Devin is boring. 3 or 4, excuse me. 2 from Shakur, 1 from Devin, and 1 from Floyd. And they say they're boring. That means 96 times, over 96 times, they wasn't boring.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they all had legit reasons for these performances.
Right.
Floyd tore his rotator cuff. Devin had that, people want to say PTSD, he had that traumatic fight. He got dropped 3 times. Cool, he accepted it. But then come to find out his opponent was on performance enhancers. He had a year layoff. Shakur had 2 broken hands against Edwin De Los Santos. So I asked this question. In football, if you got a right-handed quarterback, if Tom Brady broke his right hand, do you expect him to throw 4 touchdowns and 400 yards? Well, because of that performance, let's say he has 100 yards, no touchdowns, an interception, but they win the game. Are you saying that, and see, Tom Brady is, now he go out the next time and have 400 yards, a few touchdowns? Yeah, but he's still boring. If Michael Jordan takes Michael Jordan, if this label go for Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan can't shoot threes. He didn't take threes to shoot them.
Right.
Right? So if you Deion Sanders and you break your toe and he gets burnt on a couple of touchdowns, is he vulnerable now? I mean, we got to stop this, man. Because I seen Mexican fighters don't show up how they supposed to, but I never see nobody label them not warriors no more.
Yeah, Shakur, I think anybody's being honest with themselves, it's the hands. You know, if the fight ain't what it's supposed to be, it's the hands. But outside of that, Shakur ain't no boring fighter. Hell no. Neither is Devin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
And here goes another thing, right, Clay? The goalpost is always moved. Right? When you watch Manny Pacquiao and Tim Bradley, was Manny Pacquiao labeled boring because he couldn't knock out Tim Bradley?
Hell no.
No. But Shakur dominates Oscar Valdez, Jamel Herring, Yoshino, exciting performances. But instead of us acknowledging that, we say, well, who did he fight, though?
Right.
They wasn't nobody. Well, if he would have did that to Edwin De Los Santos, you would have just said he was fighting a nobody again. If Devin would have got clipped with a left hook in his first fight back after a year layoff, going through the traumatic situation, getting dropped 3 times, the rocking, the ups and downs. 1 minute you think, hey, you're questioning yourself, right, Clay? Am I this good? Because he's human. You lose to Ryan. Am I as good as I say I am? Am I this? And then you find out, now you're on that roller coaster, then to find out this guy's on performance enhancers. Now you got to switch your mindset. Then you have a year layoff. A lot that goes along with it. So he goes in the ring, he's cautious, he moves around the ring. He's like, hey, I'm going to just stay cautious, get the dub. Was it the most crowd pleasing? No. But it was one time out of 32 fights. Even when he lost to Ryan, we said, oh, he was dumb. I didn't say that, but we didn't say that. But, you know, people, the boxing fans, oh, he was dumb. He didn't protect himself from the left hook. But what is exciting, though? That's what you wanted to see. So which one is it? Floyd boxed against Cotto, Madonna, first fights. He ain't got no legs. He can't move. Then he boxed. Oh, he's boring. Like what? We can't win for losing. Yeah. So Shakur has 2 performances. The Nakatilia, 1 performance. The reason I said 1 is because I don't even count the Edwin Del Santos fight because he had 2 broken hands. Clay, do you expect the sprinter, 100-yard sprinter, Olympic sprinter, to win the 100 yards with 2 broken ankles?
Hell no.
How's this dude gonna box and be excited with 2 broken hands that we know he had surgery on?
Yeah.
So wait, why wasn't Edwin De Los Santos trying to go out on his shield with a fighter with a broken hand?
Because he didn't know.
I agree, brother.
So is the signs not there? You're not like as cautious as he was.
Shakur finessed him, man. Shakur did a good job of selling that man before the fight that he was going to put belt to ass. And that guy felt like Shakur was setting him up to hit him with the left hand, not realizing that left hand was out of commission, and literally thought his way into paralysis of analysis. And before he knew it, he looked up and it was round 12, bro. That's what happened to Edwin De Los Santos.
So technically, he had his hand in his pockets, right?
Oh, look, this is a fact, right? Like the onus. This is the same argument with the Devin Haney situation and Jose Ramirez, as far as what did the other guy do to cut the ring off and take advantage of it, right? But the story going into these fights coming up this weekend is very simple, and even going into the fight for Devin Haney and Brian Norman is very simple. With Shakur Stevenson, are their hands on point? If the hands are on point, we're going to get a great performance from Shakur. That's what we're looking to see, because this is the fight he's been looking for. Not specifically William Zepeda, but specifically William Zepeda, in the strength of that, a fighter who can actually test me and force me and put me in a position to where I'm going to show you guys what I haven't been able to show you guys. I'm not going to show you guys what I'm going to show you against William Zepeda, against somebody who doesn't deserve to get that kind of performance, somebody who I can win easily fighting in another way. But his hands are in question. There's people out there who just looking to kick Shakur's back in, and they're gonna do it regardless.
I got this to say about the Shakur hands, right? So we know Shakur is supposed to fight Cordina. He broke his hand while he was sparring, right? So ever since that happened, we've seen interviews of him saying that, he's gonna go talk to Floyd and see what Floyd did about the hand. Last 3 fights or 2 fights he fought, he been saying that same thing. So what is he actually doing to get to do better things to help the hand? Because I've seen him in multiple interviews since he got hurt in that sparring when he was supposed to fight Cordina, and he keeps saying the same thing over and over. I'm gonna go holler at Floyd to see what he did so I can help my hand. So I feel like he been lying about that. So what you guys think?
It's not that he's been lying. It's the time, man. It was last September. It was last September that he had the surgery on his hand, right? And then he fought Josh Padley and didn't even really take the time for the rehabilitation to really settle in. So even though he stopped Josh Padley, his hands were still kind of hurt there. Really, this will be a little less than a year since he's had that surgery. This will be, I think, it's just time for the therapy and everything to kick in. And I'm hoping that it kicks in this Saturday. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm wondering, because I know for a fact that he reached out to Floyd.
Was this? How long ago was this?
This was after the Padley fight. So, but do I know? He reached out to Floyd, and he was supposed to reach out because Paulie Malignaggi is another one that had those hand injuries. He said he was going to reach out to Paulie. I don't know if they obliged him, you know what I'm saying? If they, what's what. But I know for a fact he reached out to Floyd. Did Floyd go the extra mile to help him out, or does he have the finances to do what Floyd did for his hand? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like LeBron spent $1 million a year on his debt. You know what I'm saying? Floyd is a billionaire. Ain't no telling how much money Floyd was willing to spend on his hand. Does Shakur have those resources?
Yeah.
To be honest, what can you do, man? Your hands are busted. They don't get
Yeah.
better with surgery. You don't come better and stronger. You can have
I'm gonna
all
tell
the
you some
surgery
old
you
school
want,
stuff.
but that doesn't. You don't get stronger. Your hands don't get stronger. You got to build your hands from a young age to get them broken, micro fractures in your hands and build them tough. You're not gonna get that at this age that he's at. He's just gonna have surgery take away the pain, but it ain't gonna make it stronger. What did Floyd do? He did absolutely nothing but have to use orthopedic style gloves. He didn't knock nobody out. He wasn't no knockout artist with those brittle hands. He just made sure that he wasn't in that discomfort, that I can tell you, and making sure he don't break his hands again. But they didn't get stronger by no means, and that's the same thing with Shakur. He's just gonna have to box in a way where, he's not gonna be throwing everything he got because he will break his hand again. It's just DNA. It's just the way it is. He wasn't born with the strong hands. He didn't train his hands at a young age to become strong, and it is what it is. So he's gonna have to adapt to what his body's telling him to do. Hopefully, he just doesn't have pain, because that then changes your entire style. As long as he doesn't have pain, we're good to go. But if he has pain, it's just gonna be changing his whole output on the way he's gonna fight. But he ain't gonna get stronger. He ain't gonna become a knockout artist. Nothing like that.
Hey, HD, I agree with you, man, because remember, Floyd moved to Vegas, right, HD, because a part of it is Vegas allows him to get the shots in his hands, right? And remember, they was complaining about that Floyd gets the shots in his hands, and the commission in Las Vegas sanctions that. They allow him to do that. And he also used I hope I'm pronouncing this right, orthopedic gloves. Floyd Mayweather.
Yes, orthopedic gloves, exactly.
Yeah, so maybe Shakur got to go down, because like you said, HD, it ain't gonna get stronger. It is what it is, right? You just got to be. It's about maintenance, right? Can you maintain it where you can actually go through a 12-round fight, land some punches, and deal with the pain? You know what I'm saying? That's ultimately what it boils down to.
Hey, there are some old school ways you can get your hands stronger. Like you can take some pickled pig feet and put your freaking hand in that jar and soak your hand in that jar for a long time. You do that. I mean, I'm being serious, man. That's some stuff my old school trainer showed me, man. You
1,000%. You can also put it in gasoline.
You take the pickled pig feet. You put your hand in that jar, soak it every day. Get you a bag of rice, and you work your hand down to the bottom of that bag of rice. You pull it out. You work your way back down and do all that over and over again.
That'll make the flesh stronger, but to really
gasoline. You can put your hand in gasoline.
Hands, you gotta go through the micro fractures of life, and that starts at an early age to build strong hands, real strong hands. If you look at, I saw like a video not too long ago where I saw Roberto Duran's hands as an old man making Tank's hands look like babies, like baby hands. Why? Because he went through that grind as a young man, where he had beat up his hands and let them build up some new bone and stronger strength to it. But yeah, what you're talking about, yeah, it'll make your flesh stronger. It might build some tissue strength, but your bones, bro, that's from a young age. And if you didn't do that at a young age and wanted to go through that process, it is what it is. And if your DNA is not there, because that's just it is what it is. Your DNA
genetics and all that, right? Like
genetics.
Yeah,
it just says it is what it is.
Yo, guys, it's about that time for me.
It's equivalent to Steph Curry ankles, remember?
Yup. Or Derrick Rose too.
Yeah.
We gonna link up tomorrow, man. Make it happen. I've been up since 4:00 this morning. Moving around, doing what I gotta do. I'm tired as hell. I can't even think straight to even be part of this conversation. Salute to everybody on here, man. Thanks, Blue, for coming up, man. Yo, Blue, man, when I know you got the house upside down, though. I can hear it in the background. I know. So just let me know. Salute to
on Thursday we be back.
just let me know, man. Just let me know for sure.
Yeah.
Salute to everybody on the panel. HLD, thanks for stopping through, man. As usual, Blaze, thanks for stopping through. Coach Eddie, thank you. Ray, I know you're at work listening, man. Appreciate you popping up with me, man. Shout out to you. What's your name again, man? Neverfold Sports. Salute to you, fam. Where you from? Canada or something?
Hell no, Florida.
Florida. Okay. What's your background? What do you like? Jamaican?
Black.
St. Martin?
Black.
Oh, you just black?
Yeah.
I hear an accent. I feel like I heard an accent, man. I don't know. That's what I thought. I even thought you was Canadian for a minute there, but I ain't gonna lie, man. You know what I'm saying, respectfully, but thanks for coming up, man. You're welcome to come up, man. I appreciated your contribution, man, and your input on the topics tonight, man.
For sure.
Salute to you. It is what it is, man. Shout out to everybody in the building: Thomas Hill, Nick J, Ross Clot, the Cardenas, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for showing up tonight on this late night pop-up. We'll be on tomorrow at 11. I'll be way more energized and we have way more you know what I'm saying, to offer the conversation. I was just so tired, but I wanted to stay consistent and pop off today. I couldn't come on this morning because I was out and about trying to get some money. So it is what it is.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Clay. It's all about the money, bro. That's why I'm at work right now. I'm going to start my original. I'm about to start my shift right now.
No doubt, man. Salute to everybody in the building, man. It's that ATV Combat Media, man. Until tomorrow, man. Salute. We out.